Alrighty, we are live. So I am going early with this Coaster Time stream to do some pre-stream Q&A as I have done with the past few streams prior to me taking a break from Coaster Time. So this will be a pre-stream Q&A opportunity. And for anyone who is watching right now or watching at a later time, I would just like to say welcome back to Coaster Time. It's been a long while since I've done one of these, about 3 months at this point. So I'm excited to be back. And so I'm going to be starting it with a pre-stream Q&A, and at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, no sooner, no later, I will be going right into the stream. As always, today we have a viewer call-in stream, so for anyone who wants to call in onto the stream, we will be doing something a little later into the stream where I will have a StreamYard link pinned in the chat. It's also currently in a description for anyone who wants to get on early, where you can come on and talk about your thoughts on the latest news, maybe your predictions going into next year, into 2023 for some things that can happen. As you will see in the news segment, we are getting right into the news and rumor season, so that's really awesome. And on top of that, we're also getting a lot of just exciting announcements too that are on their way soon. So that's going to be exciting. And then so we're going to do that. We also have Guess the Coaster, as always, along with a new segment I'm doing called Buy or Sell, inspired by Airtime Thrills series, which I got his permission to do it. So that is great. That's going to be a new interactive segment that I'm going to be introducing into the streams, along with the viewer call-ins, as I said, Coaster Hangman, along with RCDB Surfing, which will lead into a final Q&A and end of the stream. I will also be introducing some changes to this series, so for anyone who is familiar with Coaster Time, I'll be going into the changes I will be making in the new segment at the end with the channel announcements portion. So that is what's going on. With that being said, any questions that anyone has, let me know, and we'll be doing that right away. This will be the first and only Q&A session before the final Q&A session, which will occur at the end of the stream. So that is going to be that. Not too many people coming on here as of right now, but that generally is what happens. So we'll wait a little bit before the stream truly gets started, which will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So should be pretty exciting. Pretty exciting stream today. Obviously, if the viewer call-ins, not something I do super often, but it's something that I wanted to bring back. And obviously, Coaster Time coming back is a big sort of deal for me. So as I mentioned, any questions you have, let me know in the chat, and we'll get rolling. So that should pretty much be that. And like I said, there were a lot of rumors that have come up recently, a lot of news. Yesterday, we had the SeaWorld Orlando Surf Coaster teaser finally come out. We now have a little bit more of a better idea of what the surf coaster is actually going to look like. So that is something that is going to be pretty interesting to hear from some of the viewers, their thoughts on that. We also have Wolverine Wildcat receiving the second batch of Titan Track. That was many weeks ago now, but that is something that I have not talked about yet. So we're going to be going into that. We had several new ride openings, with probably the biggest one being Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. As I mentioned, I actually also went to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, so I also got to do Sidewinder Safari, which was pretty interesting to do because I have experience riding their old spinning coaster Pandemonium, and Sidewinder Safari, I think, fills that family coaster hole back into Six Flags Discovery Kingdom's lineup. It was nice to ride it. It was a solid ride. I prefer Pandemonium when it was there, but it's nice that they finally have a true family coaster, which I felt they were kind of lacking because the next closest thing they really had was Cobra, which is more of a kiddie coaster in my opinion. So there was that. But like I said, anyone who has any questions, let me know. Pre-stream Q&A, as I said. And at 12, we'll be going right into the stream. Hopefully the notifications went out right. I know there might have been a problem with the stream when I was setting it up. It didn't look like the notification sent out correctly, so hopefully things should be fine. And I imagine they will be, probably, because most of the streams, how they go, as we get closer to the actual stream starting at 3 p.m. Eastern time, that's kind of how things go. But like I said, any questions you have, let me know. And then we'll go straight into the news, straight into Coaster Time, the return of it at 12 p.m. Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern time. So that's going to be how that works. Let me just check in on something real quick and see if things are all good. They should be. Hopefully there isn't an issue of like the audio being like messed up or something. But as I said, pre-stream Q&A, anyone who's on here, you can ask any questions you want before we go into the stream at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And that's going to be pretty much how that works. I'm just going to check real quick that this is going all well, that this is actually up and going. Okay, now we have people. So I think the notifications just started probably going in right now. Sometimes it's a little finicky like that, but welcome to anyone who has joined the stream. Like I said, pre-stream Q&A. And then at 3 p.m. Eastern, we will be starting the stream officially, which should be pretty exciting. I'm really happy to be getting back into Coaster Time. It's really something that I enjoy doing, and I want to continue it. So the official return of Coaster Time is, I guess, in a few minutes, which is pretty exciting. So there you have it. But any questions you have for me, let me know. As I mentioned earlier, I just visited Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, so if you have any questions about that, let me know. The visit itself was, or I should say the park itself was not really great, but I got to do what I needed or wanted to do at bare minimum, so it was a successful visit, even if operations and some other things didn't exactly go my way, but I got to get the 2 new coasters, including Sidewinder Safari, so that was a success, and that is pretty much that. So, yeah. And as for Sidewinder Safari itself, as I mentioned, it was nice to kind of see them get a new family coaster again, so that is pretty much that. I see we have people in the chat, but I don't actually see any questions coming in. Like I said, ask any questions you have, and then we'll go right into the opening and then right into the news afterwards. I do realize that today is June 4th, Saturday. A lot of people may have just gotten out of school today, so that is something that could definitely impact the live viewership of the stream, but hopefully it shouldn't too badly. But we'll see what happens. As I said, any questions you have, let me know, or just say hello in the chat, whatever you wish to do. And then we'll get rolling at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That should be how this stream goes. So, yep, that's pretty much all I have to say there before we get into the news. Any Q&A you have, let me know, and we'll see how this stream goes. I'm doing a few different things, some changes as well, so that is my plan for the stream. Viewer call-ins, as I mentioned earlier, along with the segments we're going to do along with the news, which we have quite a bit of, so that should be good to go. Maybe there is something messed up with the notifications. That would not be ideal if it is. I was concerned about it because that seemed to be an issue with this thing early on, but hopefully it should be good. I'm gonna look on the stream just to make sure everything's right. It looks all right. So anyone in chat, just say hello. I just want to make sure that people got notifications at this point. If you have any questions, let me know. And then we'll get started in about a minute or two here. So that should pretty much be that. It's also possible, is the chat like really slowed down? Okay, Coaster Evan's there, so there we go. So hopefully nothing's up with the notifications. Although now the comment randomly disappeared on my YouTube thing, so that's really weird. Hopefully that's not an issue. But hello, Coaster Evan. If you have any questions, let me know. Now it's showing the Wi-Fi bar. Hopefully, if there's any issues with the stream, let me know, because I can't really see that on my end. But we should be getting started relatively soon here, so that should be everything getting handled. Now more people are coming in. Okay, I think it's just that I think there might have been some issues with some notifications, and now people are coming in, and now it's getting closer, so that's good. That should make things pretty nice and smooth from here. But anyways, to anyone who just joined, hello. This is obviously the return of Coaster Time. I was planning to do a pre-stream Q&A. I think there were some issues with notifications, so I will be doing this pre-stream Q&A thing for about probably 5 more minutes. As I mentioned, I just visited Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Anyone who has any questions related to that, let me know. Or any questions related to news, anything else. I'm looking forward to answering and doing the stream today, so that'll pretty much be that until we actually get started with the stream, which will be a little bit delayed now, probably in a few minutes. I just want to make sure everything is fine before we get started here, because this is pretty bizarre. I don't know why the YouTube chat thing is getting rid of things, but I guess we'll have to figure that out as we go along. But anyways, even if you don't have any questions, just say hello, just so I know that things are actually not having issues. Because I was concerned with how the stream was set up earlier, there might have been. So yeah, alrighty. Let's see, but everything should be good. Everything should be fine. I guess I'll just start the stream because a lot of people watch it afterwards. So if the viewer calling thing kind of dies, it is what it is. We'll have to do something another time, but it's still going to be a pretty good stream. Still got a lot of segments I want to do, so I think we're just going to get started right now then. So with that being said, we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the 32nd episode and the return of the Best Coaster live stream series on YouTube, Coaster Time, hosted by me, Carrick from Coaster Hour. And today I will be doing a lot of different segments, including viewer call-ins, which is something that I had introduced many streams ago that I want to bring back and keep doing whenever it makes sense, which will begin in a little while. And so that is something we're going to be doing, along with, of course, news, Guess the Coaster, a new segment I have that is inspired by Airtime Thrills series called Buy or Sell. I got his permission to do it, so we're going to be doing that, along with Coaster Hangman and some RCDB surfing. So all of that should be pretty good. And with that being said, I'm going to move straight into the news, which should be happening right now. So let me just get to the news banners. And we're going to move into our openings. So in terms of ride openings, we had quite a bit this week, or these past few weeks. We had Eagle Warrior at Vin Wonders Phu Quoc in Vietnam. That is a clone of Dragonflyer that's indoors. I couldn't get a picture of it, so I used the Dragonflyer picture. But along with that, we also have Fire and Flame, which is a Gerstlauer Bob coaster at Hunderfossen in Norway. Probably totally butchered that. We also have probably the biggest opening of the bunch, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, which looks super exciting. I hope to be able to ride it sometime in the next few years, hopefully. It looks like a really exciting new coaster over there at Epcot. And we also have the reopening of Jolly Rancher Remix, Sidewinder as Jolly Rancher Remix, along with Mix in that new revamped area of Hershey Park. So we have those ride openings, but we have several more. We also have Medusa Slidewheel at Mount Olympus, which is America's first slide wheel water slide. Sidewinder Safari at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, which I just rode this past week. Very nice sort of family attraction, family coaster. So that is something that I have gotten to experience, which is pretty cool because I don't usually get to experience these rides before I talk about them in these streams, so that's a new experience for me. We also have Catwoman Whip at Six Flags St. Louis, which is the long-delayed KMG booster, and the Vikings area at Drayton Manor, which had several new small rides, including this Viking-themed Zamperla Mega Disco. So we had that. And then we also had a few other ride openings, including the Buffal-O Ferris wheel and Sooty Land at Creeley. The Buffal-O Ferris wheel being in Buffalo, New York. So some other new rides there. and new areas, with Sooty Land being a kiddie area for Creeley in the UK. So those are our ride openings. We also had several ride reopenings. Kangaroo at Kennywood being the biggest of the bunch. It was supposedly closed forever in 2020, but it has come back and it is reopened now. We also have some rides reopening from refurbishments, with Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia reopening from a retrack. We also have Freischutz, a Maurer launch coaster at Bayern Park in Germany, which went down in February of this year for maintenance. It is back open. Sandy's Blasting Bronco, believe it or not, at Nickelodeon Universe is back after being closed for several months. And Caro-Seuss-el at Islands of Adventure, which had been closed since August of 2021, is also back. Lex Luthor Drop of Doom at Six Flags Magic Mountain is supposed to reopen today from what I have heard, but I have not heard that that has happened yet, so I'll just note it. I didn't put it in here for that reason. But those are your ride openings and ride reopenings. Next, we have our ride opening dates. We have Fireball, which technically is already soft opened at Adventureland Long Island, which is opening on June 22nd officially. We have Sick at Flamingo Land, which is their 10 inversion coaster. They changed the name, which will be opening on July 2nd. We have Defiance at Glenwood Caverns, which will be opening on July 9th. And we also have Avengers Campus at Walt Disney Studios in France, which is opening on July 20th. I will say that for Sick, that opening date has not come from the park, but it was reported in an article. So if it's wrong, that I'll just say that real quick. So we'll see what happens there. But that should be the opening date. And then that should be that for the opening dates. And then we also have some construction updates. This is a new way I'm sort of categorizing the construction sort of things. We have Minions Land, which broke ground at Universal Studios Singapore. We have the Maurer Skyloop that used to operate at Dream World. It has been relocated to Goombaya World in Victoria, Australia, and has gone vertical. We have Dark Castle Coaster, the Dark Castle replacement coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which now has track on site. And then Wonder Woman Flight of Courage at Six Flags Magic Mountain was just topped off recently. So that is your construction updates. I also know that the Parque Warner Madrid Intamin coaster had its Intamin tracks spotted back in April, but it is now being spread a lot more now. That is something that has been known for a while, but I figured I would mention it because I figured someone would. Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger is opening on June 25th. There was an article that said that, but I believe it was Siebert or the park itself said that was not true. Unless something came out within the last few hours and I'm not aware of it, that date is not necessarily correct or confirmed based off what I last saw, but perhaps I might be wrong there. Next, we have our first test runs for coasters. Nopuko Air Coaster, which I probably totally butchered, at Lost Island Theme Park has tested for the first time. Sick at Flamingo Land, which I just mentioned earlier, also tested for the first time. And Honey Harbour at Energylandia, which is their Vekoma coaster, will be also just tested for the first time. So those are your first tests. You also have our delays, which is Lost Island Theme Park as a whole. It got delayed from July 10th to July 18th for grand opening. And Matugani, which is their Intamin Accelerator pictured here, may actually not open with the park at grand opening, but we'll see what happens there. I didn't put it in there like on the screen because I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but it's possible that it may not be. So that is your delays there. And then we have some ride closures, one temporary and 3 for good. We have Slingshot at Kings Island. I had to get the picture for the one at Cedar Point because there wasn't one I could use for Kings Island Slingshot. That is closed for good, and it is removed now. You also have Apocalypse at Drayton Manor, which is not closed yet, but it is closing for good after the 2022 season. That is an Intamin drop tower. And then you also have Arkham Asylum at Warner Bros. Movie World, which is their Vekoma SLC, which will be demolished on June 14th, according to locals, or at least it will begin. and that closed in 2019. I will say that is not 100% confirmed, but if it does happen, you heard it here. And then we also have Edaville Family Theme Park in Boston, which is going to be closed for the entire 2022 season. So, but it's temporary, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I did see the train on the turnaround. I didn't report on that, but I did see that. So that is a good sign for Dr. Diabolical's cliffhanger. Next we have is SeaWorld Orlando. They just released a trailer yesterday for their 2023 B&M Surf Coaster, which will be a first of its kind attraction according to the park, and it will feature a new generation of stand-up trains that is to a cross. So this is pretty interesting in terms of B&M going back to a stand-up coaster. I guess it's not exactly too surprising considering the patents we had seen prior, but it still kind of is interesting to see it get confirmed. So that was certainly an interesting teaser release, and we'll have to see what more information we can learn about this coaster as time goes on. But it's cool to see that they actually already put a teaser out for it well before they actually announced the name and everything. So that's pretty cool. And then we have Wolverine Wildcat at Michigan's Adventure. It received the second batch of 2022 Titan Track. So it has gotten Titan Track, I believe, on its first drop is where they put it. And so that is obviously a nice sort of investment for Michigan's Adventure. Probably one of their more significant coaster investments in a while. So definitely nice to see them at least do something with one of their wooden coasters. Next, we have Dorney Park. They have released teasers, or not really released, actually. There was a teaser spotted on the Zephyr train ride, which is a train ride that has, I guess, different routes. But one of its routes near Stinger's old plot of land had this minecart there. And huge thanks and huge shout out to Pointy Antelope, I believe that's the name, for allowing me to use this picture and also giving me some information related to some of the names on the minecart and the teasing. So the last name on the minecart is actually the last name of the park maintenance supervisor, that being Eftin. Some people thought it looked like Efteling on Reddit, but that's the actual last name, Eftin. And then you have Tedesco on the sign on the right there, which is the last name of apparently their garage foreman. So, and as I said, the teaser is a minecart on rails nearby Stinger's old plot of land. It is not confirmed that this is a teaser for their Gravity Group shuttle Woody. However, there is a lot of speculation that this is what it's for, and it kind of makes a lot of sense. Just its placement, it being a minecart on rails. It kind of seems to make some sense, which is definitely exciting if that's the case, but only time will tell if there is something happening here for sure, at least for next year. So at least there is some hope. Next, we have Niagara Amusement Park, which will receive Serpent, which was an SCC Galaxy relocated from Kokomo's Family Fun Center in Michigan. So another coaster that Gene Staples is coming in and saving. So that is obviously something you like to see. Not too much else to say there. And you have Paulton's Park in the UK. They are surveying some land and prepping for their next major attraction, as has been spotted in one of their corners of the park. To be determined what they'll be getting. I know there's speculation out there. It's not a project I'm super familiar with, but something to keep an eye on, especially if you're in the UK. Could be something pretty exciting. And speaking of plans and new attractions, Slagharen in the Netherlands has filed plans for a new themed area called Bandito Land that will include a family inverted coaster that is speculated to be from Vekoma, but that is obviously not confirmed. This is the park that had the little... they had 3 different inverted animation coaster concepts that they had, I don't know if they had released intentionally, but they did get out there. So this is the park that had the Gerstlauer invert, the Premiere, and the Vekoma invert animations from a while back. So looks like they have maybe chosen their manufacturer and maybe chosen a layout. So which is said to be different than the one in any of those animations. So we'll have to keep an eye on this project. Next, we have Toverland. They have filed plans to expand their Avalon area, which is where Phoenix is in. And this would be something that is likely for 2023. And it is said to include 4 new rides. So we'll see. Another project to keep our eyes on for sure. Next, we have some potential news about Splash Mountain. And that is that the voice actress for Tiana from Princess and the Frog, Anika Noni Rose, has actually stated, she said in an interview, that the Princess and the Frog version of Splash Mountain will open in 2024 for both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. This is something Disney did not announce. It is not from Disney themselves. I think she said it not knowing that that information hadn't been released, so it'll be determined if this is the true opening timeline for the ride, but it might be, and it's the first time we've heard anything about an opening date for it in a while, if ever. So definitely something pretty interesting to also keep your eyes on. Next, we have some news related to Fun Spot America Atlanta. They have announced through Facebook that they will receive 2 new family rides that will replace their recently closed mini golf course. One of these rides has been revealed to be a Tilt-A Whirl just from people spotting the ride on site, which is a new ride for them. And along with that, Fun Spot also announced that they will have a huge Air Force One announcement coming next week, widely speculated to be the opening date, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I am not aware if Diamondback is back open at Frontier City. I would assume not, but perhaps it is. I'm not sure about that. Next, we have a new park coming in Brazil, a new planned seaside park in Brazil called Porto Park. It has been unveiled. It will cost around $19 million and have around 20 attractions. It will be Brazil's first pier park. Not too much to say here. It'll have what looks like a nice collection of flat rides, and it's nice to see a country like Brazil get another new park, and one that would be so unique for the country. So that's good to see. And then our last bit of news before we head into the major rumors / I guess also little bits of news is that the planned world's first eco theme park is looking at being built in Chicago. I reported on the park many months ago, it seems like. This is a park that would be very focused on greenery and being eco-friendly. So if you want to look more into it, I have the article in the description, but that is something to maybe monitor. We'll see what happens. Probably something that is going to take a while to materialize. And then we're going to move into the big stuff in terms of rumors. So we have a lot here for Cedar Point. Construction walls have been spotted at the park, and it appears that from photos, foundations for a restaurant are being placed, or for a building that is speculated to be a restaurant. So it definitely seems like the restaurant rumor is true, and we will see what happens there. There were rumors that along with the restaurant, there might be a few flat rides and potentially even a coaster such as a Wild Mouse or perhaps a Schwarzkopf Wildcat that would be installed. And there might still be enough room for something like that to happen, but it's not something, at least for the coaster, it's not something that I'm sure I'm expecting, but we'll see what happens there. But we also have another rumor as well that comes straight out of Screamscape, which in terms of ride removal rumors, they have not been real hot as of late when it comes to Kumba and Ride of Steel. But they have reported that Top Thrill Dragster has potentially closed for good, and some of the trains have been shipped to Knott's Berry Farm as parts for Accelerator. When I first saw this, I thought this was a little just crazy, but someone did find a picture that was dated back in April showing a Top Thrill Dragster train being loaded on a Cedar Point truck on Twitter. That was dated, as I said, in April. So don't know exactly what that was for. And the claim for, and the trains are kind of an interesting situation because they were not taken off in the off season like normal. They were needed for the investigation, and the investigation took a while, so those trains were never put in storage at the time where you would expect them to have, from what I understand. And so they may have been removed as recently as April, as we saw in the picture. and we'll see if this turns out to be true. It's definitely a scary sort of possibility for Dragster, and one that at this point wouldn't shock me, but there's a lot to be sorted out and determined before we can say this is really legit or not. So another thing we'll have to keep our eyes on. I've been saying that a lot, but kind of the theme of things when you have a lot of rumors and sort of teasing. Next, we have land clearing at Worlds of Fun has begun, and so this is by their Dinosaurs Alive area near Boomerang, which is in their Africa area. And the rumor is that Worlds of Fun will receive a new coaster for 2023. I think I messed up the wording there on this news thing, but anyways, for 2023, that will be the spiritual successor to Zambezi Zinger, and the idea is that it would be an RMC Raptor. That's the leading rumor. I do think they will get a new coaster next year, and I think an RMC Raptor would be amazing. And honestly, I think if I had to predict it, I think they would be getting that, which is absolutely crazy considering this park has really not gotten a new coaster since, technically Cosmic Coaster I think was their last one, but Prowler was their last major one, so definitely a park that is well deserving of a new coaster if they indeed get it. And then our last rumor is that Universal Studios Hollywood is, and this comes out of Screamscape as well, this one. Actually, it's from Screamscape, and there's other places that have discussed it, but supposedly Universal Studios Hollywood is planning a new, innovative Fast and Furious themed Intamin coaster with controlled spinning and launches. This is supposedly a potential 2024-2025 edition, so definitely in the long-term future, but hopefully this is something that materializes. This park needs something so bad. I don't know how they're going to get this to happen. I know they're saying, the rumor goes on to say that they would be using the land taken up by some of their theaters, which would certainly be interesting, but this would be a very interesting project if it materializes. We'll have to see if this happens. I am really hoping it does, because that would be super exciting. And with that being said, that wraps up the news for this episode, outside of the channel announcements, which I'll be going into. So I think I'm going to take this out of the way. So we have a few channel announcements. I just visited Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, not really a channel announcement, but we'll have a final Q&A session later. So for anyone who wants to ask questions about that, you can do that at that time. So that's nice. But I've also released a new poll for guest suggestions in terms of guests you would like to see come on, and also suggestions for who I should bring back from the guests I have had previously. So I have that pinned in the chat right now. I also have the link in the description. Fill it out whenever you have time. You can probably complete it in like 5 minutes or less if you want to, or you can take as much time on it as you want. Either way, it's helpful for me to have, so I released that. And I've also decided to change a little bit of how I deal with self-requests. So in the past, I have pretty much said that I do not accept self-requests, but I am kind of thinking of, but I have pretty much decided to change that. And so I have a new self-request form for anyone who wants to come on Coaster Time. This is not guarantee. If you fill it out, it does not guarantee you come on, but it is a way to potentially give people a chance to come on. So fill out the form. That would literally take like 5 minutes. Basically, it's just your content creator name and why you want to come on, and another multiple choice question, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. So for anyone who is interested in coming on as an actual guest, if you want to have a chance, fill that out. And so that is something new I'm incorporating into Coaster Time. Like I said, no guarantees that everyone can get on. It's pretty much impossible for me to bring on everyone who requests. We already have like 8 people requesting, and I imagine that number is only going to grow. So it is what it is there, but I would like to bring some people on. And that's also why I do these viewer call-in streams like today. So everyone kind of gets an opportunity to come on here in a way if they want to. So that is kind of like what I am aiming for. And speaking of changes, I have some changes I want to outline that are coming to Coaster Time. So I want to make them shorter such as like make them closer to 2 hours rather than 3 hours minus the pre-stream Q&A stuff, and more guest friendly. So some changes I am thinking of doing is changes to the YouTube shoutouts. I will still have the YouTube shoutouts like in the description and in the comments. I didn't have one for this episode because it's been so long and I haven't been keeping track, but for future episodes I will. But basically, I won't really be mentioning them on here because it kind of puts my guests in a weird situation where they kind of have to, if they haven't watched the channel, it kind of puts them in a difficult situation to give compliments or whatever. So that's something that I'm thinking of doing, pretty much putting it in the description and in the comments so people can still subscribe and check out these channels that have reached milestones, but it's not something I'm going to be doing on the streams. These changes could change depending on how people receive them, but we will see how this goes. And then you may have noticed with the news segment, for those who have been watching a long time, I did not go over incidents. And the reason why that is because when I have guests on, also when I report and start off the news with incidents or accidents, it kind of starts to stream off in a negative sort of tone, I suppose, which these streams I want to keep positive, so I'm going to refrain from reporting incidents. And if something happens that is like significantly tragic, such as the unfortunate Orlando freefall tragedy that happened several months ago, I will make a community post about it. But I'm not going to put those on here just to because I know it's kind of weird when I say it that way, but I want to keep the streams positive and I want to make it so that the guests don't have to really worry about having to address like serious topics like that, because when you're on here as a guest, that is something that is sometimes daunting, and so that's something I want to change. And I've also capped the news topics. I've made it only 20 topics. That way the news is not overly long. That's for both my guests and myself. I mean, it's still pretty long as you saw the last one, but 20 topics, at least on my like sheet, is pretty much how it's going to be handled from here on out. And then we also have some other things I want to do, such as a segment basically replacing the prediction segment I have called Buy or Sell. This is inspired by Airtime Thrills. This is a segment where pretty much you guys put in your predictions or your takes, and we buy or sell like what Airtime Thrills did. I got his permission to use it, and this is something that a lot of sports shows and things use, and I thought it was a good replacement to predictions because it makes it so I don't have to prep as much, and so my guests don't have to prep as much in terms of having something down, which cutting down prep time is something I want to do in order to sustain the series. And then also, we're also going to do less but longer Q&A segments. So for this stream, I'm going to have one giant Q&A session at the end. And that way, it's so we can answer most, if not all, the questions, but also not be like having a bunch of like basically 2 to 3 or really 3 like short Q&A sessions is basically my idea and thinking with that. It's also a way I think I can cut down on the stream time. So those are some changes I am gonna do with Coaster Time. You can let me know in the chat what you think of them. And I guess you'll kind of see how they play out in the future. They're flexible, so if things don't work out the way I want it to or you want it to, I can definitely reconsider some things, but that is what I'm going for. And my other thing here is that I am bringing back these streams, but for me to sustain these streams, I need them to grow. So the best way for you as the viewers to help me out with that is to not really donate. I don't need that, but rather promote the streams on social media or shout out the streams to anyone you think you would like them or recommend them to people. I think that's the best way to make it grow. Sometimes, like for example, I see sometimes on like the roller coaster subreddit or on Discord, sometimes the topic of best YouTubers or best YouTube content comes up. So if you can like, if that question ever comes up in those things, then you can like consider these streams and potentially suggest them and send people my way. That is probably the best way to grow the channel. I'm also going to be focusing on doing some other videos as well this summer. So that is going to be pretty much that when it comes to coaster time changes and just growth for the series. So that was rather long, but I wanted to kind of explain everything, so hopefully that all worked out there. And with that being said, we're gonna move on to our first, I say first round, but we'll be doing our Guess the Coaster game. We'll be doing 8 rounds. So basically how this works for those of you who are new is that we are basically I get a random coaster and you try to guess it in the chat, either using clues and also, like, of course, trying to guess the actual coaster. If you haven't done it before, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. It's not that complicated. So with that being said, I got my first coaster, so you can start guessing right away. And actually, I'm going to try to do something that I have wanted to incorporate as well. I mentioned during one of the last streams or something that I would love to put in some background music during this. So I'm actually going to try to incorporate that right now. But I'm not sure how well it's going to work. Okay. So, but yeah, you guys can start asking your questions in the chat, trying to guess the coaster. Like I said, I already got it. So start asking away your clues, your questions. And that will pretty much be how that goes. So there we go. And then, all right, I'm curious how this is gonna work. Okay, so I'm gonna try playing the background music. Let me know if it's too loud. Okay, hopefully it's not too loud. If you guys can't hear it, then I'll just ditch it, but yeah. This coaster is not in Europe, so far we don't really have anything, but the coaster is not in Europe. Don't donate, got it. Thank you so much, Stanford Bridge. I appreciate it, for sure. It's just, I think the way I mentioned, it's a lot more accessible for a lot more people, and I honestly think that's the best way to do it. But I mean, yes, I will accept donations for sure. Is it in the USA? Yes, it is. So it is in the US, and it is not a B&M. So far we have US coaster. Let me know, can you guys hear the background music, or is it too loud? Is it fine? I don't know. I don't know how it's working, but it's not something I've ever done before. It is an RMC, so we have an RMC in the US. Is it made by Intamin? No. So far we have US RMC, which definitely narrows it down a lot. Steel Vengeance, Twisted Cyclone, no, neither of those. But it is under 150 feet, so Charged on PC is on the right track. It's not New Texas Giant, it is not Lightning Rod, it is not Twisted Timbers. Maybe you guys might be able to go through every RMC outside of this one. Not Twisted Timbers, not New Texas Giant, as I said. It is not Storm Chaser. Not Storm Chaser. A few people got that in. Actually, I'm curious. Is the StreamYard chat faster? What do you know it actually is? Except it won't scroll down, so that kind of sucks. Let's see. It's not Jersey Devil, it's not Twisted Cyclone, it's not Railblazer, it's not Iron Rattler, it's not Stunt Pilot, it's not Joker, and it's not Wicked Cyclone. Wow. Let me just make sure that this one didn't come up earlier. No, it didn't. So, it's still out there. No one's got it yet. I think you've guessed potentially almost all the RMCs in America outside of... it is a hybrid. It is a hybrid coaster. It is not Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster. It's not Wonder Woman Flight of Courage either. So it's neither of those. It is a hybrid coaster, so it's a hybrid RMC in the US. I'm amazed it hasn't come up yet. Coaster Evan got it first for me. It is Twisted Colossus. Congratulations to JB Thrills right behind. And so, yeah, that's our first round. Let me know in chat if you guys can actually hear the background music. That may have been I did try to put it in. I don't know how that's working out, but let me know if that actually is even working at all. Before we get into the next thing. And then after that, I'll let you know if when I get my next coaster. StreamYard's coming first. I can hear the music not too loud. Is it too quiet is my other question. It's non-copyright music, by the way, so for anyone who is concerned, I mean, obviously I'd go that route, but yeah. Okay, so people are saying it's good, it's fine. Alrighty, sounds good to me. So I do have my next coaster then. Ask away. It is pretty quiet. Okay, I'll turn it up just a teeny bit. Okay. Hopefully it's still fine. I did turn it up a teeny bit. I don't know how much a teeny bit is in terms of I don't know how much a teeny bit is in terms of on there, but hopefully it's a teeny bit. So I do have my next coaster. Okay. It might be an issue. I quieted it down when I was editing the thing. I just made a a 30-minute thing with non-copyright music. It might have done something. But anyways, like I said, I have my next coaster, so guess away. It is not a new coaster in Europe. It is not a new coaster nor in Europe, so it's neither of those. Let's see. Let's see what other questions. StreamYard's getting it first, but it's like, it's not coming through. It's so annoying. Is it in Pennsylvania? No, it is not. It is not in Asia. It is in the US. So we have another US coaster. It is not Prowler, but I love the Out There Guest. Always love to see that. Is it a GCI? It is not a GCI, but it is a wooden coaster. So we have US wooden coaster. US wooden coaster. StreamYard's so annoying. It's like, I don't know. I guess I have a kinda... Oh well. That's why I have the YouTube channel on here, I guess. Is it a hybrid? No, it is not a hybrid. As in, it does not have steel supports. It is not a Gravity Group, and it is not Beast, and it's not Voyage, and it was not made after 1990. It was built before 1990. It is not made by International Coasters Inc. That would really narrow it down, wouldn't it? It's not Phoenix, but it is a PTC, charged on PC, once again on the right track. It is not Yankee Cannonball. Let's see what our next one is. It is not Comet. It is not Screamin' Eagle. It is not on the East Coast in the sense, like, it's on the eastern side of the US, but the state does not touch the Atlantic Ocean, if that makes sense. So it's on the eastern side, just not on the actual East Coast. It is not Comet at Hershey Park. I mean, I said it wasn't Comet, so, I mean, it's not any sort of Comet. It's not Blue Streak at Cedar Point, and it's not Blue Streak at Conneaut either. Let's see what other questions come in. Judge Roy's Scream. No, it is not Judge Roy's Scream. It's not Jackrabbit. It's not Great American Scream Machine. It's not Wildcat at Frontier City. It's not Wild One. It's not Great American Scream Machine. Let's see what other questions come in. This one's definitely, I will say, I could see this being one of the trickier ones to get in terms of PTC coasters. It is not Thunderhawk. And you may be better off trying to find where it's at, if that makes sense. Because you might be here a while trying to go through all the PTCs. It's not Swamp Fox. It's not Thunder Run. Like I said, location is probably important. It is a Cedar Fair coaster, so yes, and it is still operating. So it is a Cedar Fair wooden coaster, Cedar Fair PTC coaster that's still operating. It's not roller coaster of any, it's not any of the existing wooden coasters named roller coaster, but I imagine you probably meant the one at Lagoon. Let's see. Is it a dueling coaster? Good question. No, it is not. It is not Racer at Kings Island. It's not Racer. It's not Racer 75 either. It is not the Beast, that was already guessed earlier. Quacken got it right on the dot. Woodstock Express at Kings Island, that's a snipe. And also Stamford Bridge got it right behind him. But that is an excellent guess because there's multiple of these, right? So that is a good guess. Good job. Alrighty, so then I'll get my third coaster, which will, let's see, I still need to get it. Alright, I got my next coaster. Ask away. Yeah, there's 3 of them, so that was like really good. Although, I guess since East Coast was ruled out, that I mean, if you remembered that, I guess. But is it in Germany? No, it is not in Germany. Is it steel? Yes, it is steel. It's not an Intamin. Is it in the US? Yes, it is. It is in the US, and it is... I said it was steel, right? Yeah, okay. So it is steel and it is in the US. It is not in Japan. Just wrapped at Sesame Place, nice. Let's see, it's not a B&M, it's not TMNT Shellraiser, it is not Fahrenheit, but it is an Arrow, so we have Arrow Coaster in the US. It is not Steel Eel. Magnum. It is not Magnum XL 200. It's not Viper either. Steam and Pile of Demon. That's a great nickname, but no, it's not. It's not Steam and Demon. It's not Viper at 6. It's not any sort of Viper. It's not Desperado. It's not in Virginia. It's not a Corkscrew or a Mega Looper. It is not on the East Coast. It is not Diamondback. It's not Wild Thing. It's not Corkscrew at Cedar Point. It's not at Dollywood. This is another one that, in terms of aero coasters, this is definitely not the first one you would think of. So there's a few questions you could ask to kind of help out with it. It's not Ninja at Magic Mountain, it's not Tornado, it's not Excalibur at Valley Fair. It still exists, so it's not defunct. It is not in California, and it is not X2. It's not Canyon Blaster, it's not Desperado. It does not have inversions. That is, once the Charged on PC is asking all like the big questions, I would say, that really help out. So yeah, it does not have any inversions, and it is not Gemini. It's not Runaway Mine Train at Six Flags over Texas. It is a mine train. Yes, once again. Right on the money with the question. It's not Thunderation. Oh god, I always have a tough time saying that coaster, but it's not Dahlonega Mine Train over Georgia. Man, what a hard name to pronounce. Excalibur, it's not Excalibur. River King Mine Train is the correct answer. Quackin'. That's a snipe as well. History and Leisure was right behind with saying it was the one at St. Louis, which I'll credit. Big Bad John is sort of right. I pronounced it correctly. Nice. I'm supposed to write it in a few months here. I guess less than that. So yeah, that was our third coaster, right? Third? Okay. So yeah, it was. So 5 more. All right, we have our next coaster. It is in the US. We are on a run of US coasters thus far. I will make sure we get a few in there that are not, but as of right now, yes, it is in the US, and it is not red, but it is a steel coaster. So steel US coaster, it's not a Maurer, it's not a Pinfari, it's not an Intamin, and it is not over 150 feet tall. Does it get long lines? Honestly, that I do not know. I wouldn't know for this one. I'm sure it can get like decent lines. I don't know if it gets really long. I don't think it gets really long lines. I'll just say that. It is not an Intamin. It is not Vapor Trail. It is not a Flyer, but it is an invert. So we have steel. I mean, I guess all inverts are steel. US inverted coaster. It's not Patriot at Worlds of Fun. It's not Demon at Six Flags Great America. Stamford Bridge got it right. I'll give you the credit for Batman the Ride, but at which location? I'll give Stamford Bridge the credit, but where, at which park? Just for a little bit of added bonus points, I suppose, for whatever it's worth. It is not at Six Flags Great Adventure. It is not the one at Six Flags over Texas. It is not the one at Magic Mountain. And JB Thrills got it. It is the over Georgia version. So that is the one I got. I have no idea if that one gets long lines or not. So someone who's been can let me know. I can't imagine it gets terribly long lines, but I'm sure it can have a decent weight at certain points. So yeah. Alrighty, we'll get our next coaster. And I guess I'll say off the bat, we did not get our next coaster is not in the US, so for whatever that's worth. There you have it, our first international coaster. If you live in the US, of course. It is not in Europe, and it is not in Asia, it is not in Denmark, and it is not in Mexico. You have waited an hour for it before. Okay, so I guess don't underestimate the Batman line. It is not in China, and it is not at Hopi Hari, but it is a B&M. So we have B&M coaster outside of the US. It is not in Africa. It is not in Australia. I think you've gone through about every place you could outside of one. In History and Leisure, yeah, it is at Canada's Wonderland. So B&M at Canada's Wonderland. At this point, it's just anyone's. It does not have inversions. It is in Canada. It's at Canada's Wonderland. So pretty much at this point, it's anyone's game. Okay, Fury325 got it, which is actually hilarious. At least he's the one who got it first for me. It is Leviathan, quickly followed by JB Thrills, Quackin', Charged on PC, Coaster Evan, and History and Leisure. I just find that funny, that Fury325 got it first. That's pretty funny. At least on my end, so yeah. Alright, so that was 5? Yes, so 3 more. If this stream goes over to, like, the time I wanted, I'm not stunned, because this one was not a guest stream, so if this gets closer to 3 hours, it's not that big of a deal for me. Okay, let's see. I'm still trying to get my coaster. Ooh, this is a good one. Alright, I have my next coaster. Yeah, no fair. Fury325 just picked his cousin, exactly. It is not in Europe. Yeah, the problem is it's actually more up to date on StreamYard, which I can't even fully scroll down. There is a pretty significant delay, yes. But that's just kind of how it is. It is in the Americas, yes, and it is in the US. So we have US coaster. Really narrows it down so much. It is not in China. I just realized, hopefully my fan isn't as loud as the music. It probably is, though. I guess I'll go back and look at it and make adjustments if need be. It is not in Florida. It's supposed to be yes or no questions. I'm pretty sure I've answered ones, but it is on the eastern side of the US, East Coast, yes. And it is not Comet at Great Escape. No, it is not. It is not RMC, but it is a wooden coaster. So we do have wooden coaster on the East Coast. That is not Comet. I almost said it did for some reason. It was for some reason, but it's not. And it's not steel. So US wooden coaster on the east side of on the East Coast. It is not a GCI, and it is not El Toro. It is not a Gravity Group either. Is it Thunderhawk now? No. Not Gravity Group. Not Oscar's Wacky Taxi. The wackiest of all taxis, not quite. It is not Coney Island Cyclone. It is a PTC, so we have another PTC wooden coaster. It is not a CCI. It is not Great American Scream Machine. It is not Hellcat. It is not Mind Blower, and it is not Hades 360. It's not Racer. It's not Thunderbolt. It's not Swamp Fox. It's not Phoenix. They're all coming in like really quick. It was not relocated. No. It was not relocated. This, yes, it was made after 1970. It is not Wild One. It is not Rolling Thunder. History and Leisure got it. Another snipe. Thunder Road. We didn't even get to the part where it might be defunct yet, but that is nice. So History and Leisure with the absolute snipe there. That was really good. Alright, so 2 more. And I feel like some of these random ones I've gone past already. It's kind of weird. Alright, we have our next coaster. Actually, scratch that, we don't. I'm not doing this. We're going to international for the next two. So, hold up. I mean, you can still ask your questions and I'll try to get back, so actually we don't. I got lightning rod, I was like, I'm not doing that. Okay, I now have my actual coaster. There we go. Is it, I'll just say demon because that's basically what it translates to. It is not, demon, but good guess. It's not in North Korea. This question always comes up. I mean, I guess eventually one day it might be, because I mean, that coaster is known enough to where the one, Volair there is known enough that I would probably do it, but, I mean, that's gonna be so specific whenever that happens. Is it Desert Race? No. But it is in Europe, so we have European coaster. It is not at Mirabilandia. It's not Superman... I forget if it's... I think it's Superman The Escape. Or just Superman Escape. Something like that. But it's not that one. It is not in Spain, and it is not in England. It is not Puritan, and it is not in France. It's not at Warner Bros. Movie World. Technically, that one's in Australia, but it's not at any of the Warner Bros. Parks. Because I know they kind of are all confusing. It is not T-Express. Would be funny, though. It is not in Germany, and it is not Zadra or Linnet. Linnet. However you pronounce it. It is not from Mock Rides. It is not in Poland. And it is not an RMC. So what do we have so far? We have European coaster? Is that really it? I guess so. It's not the big one. It is not a Vekoma, and it is not in Scandinavia. It is not Untamed. It is not Abyssus. It is not the big one. A lot of people guessing the big one. It is not a B&M, but it is a steel coaster. It is not Icon. It is not Silver Star. It is not the Ultimate. Inserts random coaster in Ukraine. Yeah, sad stuff over there, but... And that coaster isn't known well enough for me to do that, unfortunately. But, yeah. It is not Helix. It is not over 200 feet. It is not Conda. It's not Shred the Sewers. This coaster does have inversions. It is not Fly. It is not Nemesis. Okay, so we have steel coaster in Europe that has inversions, and it is over 100 feet. It is not Taiga, but it is a sit-down coaster. And it is not Oblivion, it's not Kernu, it's not Pulsar. Kind of amazing. There's like one or two questions that would definitely narrow it down that I'm a little surprised haven't been asked yet. It is not an Arrow. It's not Odyssey. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it hasn't come up yet. It's not Smiler. It's not Nemesis. It's not a Schwarzkopf. It's not an England. It's not Smiler. It's not Keranon. It's not Monster. It's not Keranon. I just like it so much how the StreamYard chat is more up to date than this, but it's I can't see it. It's not an Intamin. It's not Nepheskeeter or Nepheskessen. It's not Junker. Once again, there's like two questions that could be asked that would make this quite a bit easier that have not come up yet. It is not Cobra at Connieland. It is not Hypercoaster. It is not in France. It is not Saw the Ride. It is not Big One. It is not Defunct. Good thinking, though. It is not at a Six Flags park. I mean, there aren't any in Europe now. Is it in Eastern Europe? Not really. I don't think this is considered Eastern Europe. It's not SNS. It's not Olympia Looping. It is not Mach. It is not in Italy, and it's not Ice Speed. Wow, this one is trickier than I would have thought. Like, I figured it might be a bit tricky, but man, this one's got the chat pretty stumped. It does have a launch. Yes. It is not in Sweden. It is not Vekoma Blitz. I don't know, like, it's not a Vekoma, so it doesn't matter. Wild Train, it's not Wild Train. It is not in Spain. It's not Olympia Looping. It's not a PAX coaster. It's not in Scandinavia. Quacken! Holy frick! Like, man, yes, it is Fury at Bavion Land. We didn't even get to Gerstlauer. I don't care. I don't need the park name. Fury would have been good enough. That is an excellent guess. We didn't even get to Gerstlauer. No one asked that, which I thought was crazy because it's like most of their good coasters are over there. So, or their more notable ones. So, but yes, it is Fury. That was a really good guess. All right, so now we'll get to our final coaster, which will be. Ooh, let's see. Still waiting on it. I think we've gotten this one before and way past, so I'm not gonna pick it. But I just got a Stingray, which is the Vekoma Flyer that's defunct now in China. Pretty cool ride, but not gonna choose that one. Oh, I just got it. I skipped it, so I'll just put it back in. Alright, I have my next coaster. StreamYard missed your Gerstlauer question? Really? You asked it? Oh, it was there. Shoot, yeah, I missed it. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it then. But I didn't answer it, so someone else could have asked it still. It must have come in the... Yeah, I don't know how I missed that. But anyways, we have our next coaster. It's not Stingray. That'd be funny. I mean, I got it again, but I wouldn't choose it. It is not in Hawaii. It's not RCCA. It's not in the US. It is a steel coaster. It is not in Alaska. So far we have steel coaster and that's it. Oh shoot, I think the background music thing may have stopped. I need to restart it. There we go. Would have thought 30 minutes would have been enough. Alright. Let's see. South Korea, no. But it is in Asia, so we have Asian Steel Coaster. It is not Big Boom. It's not in Europe, it's not in Canada. It is not in RMC, and it is not in China. Alrighty, let's see what comes in. It is in Japan, so we do have Japanese Steel Coaster. It is not a floorless. It is not a Togo, and it is not over 200 feet tall. It's not a wing, it's not Flying Dinosaur, it's not at Nagashima Spa Land. I just saw your chat, Jay. Hope your grandfather and everyone's doing good. Sorry to hear about that, but hopefully everything's going well there. Hoping for the best there. Let's see. And then, not Steel Dragon 2000. Not Egenica. Yeah, you could say, you could say it's sit down. So sit down, it's not Pyrenees, it's not Meisho, it's not Tornado. It is not from an Asian manufacturer, it's not Parrot Coaster, it's not Gao, it's not Soaring with Dragon, it's not Senyo Kogyo. It's not Diving Coaster Vanish, it's not Dodonpa, it's not from SNS, it's not from B&M, it's not Fujiyama. It's not Dive Coaster G5. It's not Dragon's Fury. It's not from Intamin. So to recap, we have Japanese coaster, Japanese steel coaster, not from an Asian manufacturer. I mean, there's other things, but yeah. It is not Space Fantasy. It's not an Arrow. It's not Dragon's Fury. It's not Tekabisha. It's not Defunct. It's not an Ultra Twister, it's not a Togo, it's not Diablo, it's not an Arrow. Does it have inversions? It does have one, which is probably a major hint, but I just didn't want to say it had inversions when it had one. It's not a Vekoma, it's not Panic Coaster Backdan, or Backdan I should say actually, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Me trying to pronounce international coasters and rides is always an interesting experience. It's not Togo. It's not Venus GP. Although that's a pretty good question given. I mean, yeah, it is defunct, but it is being rebuilt. So it's kind of a weird situation there, but it's not that one. Good guess. Is it spinning? Yes, it is. And now it's basically anyone's game to get it because that makes it super easy. It is not Eagle's Fortress. It's not a random stand-up coaster. It's not Good. Oh wait, no, sorry. That was a reply. Okay. I'm like, I never heard of that, but that makes sense. Yes, Charged on PC along with Quacken got it right. Gekion Live Coaster, History and Leisure also got it, along with Imperial Coaster, but on my end, Charged on PC got it first, so that is the correct answer. 808 Coaster Life there as well. So, there you have it. That'll be the end of Guess the Coaster. Hope you all enjoyed that, and we're gonna move on to our next segment, which is a new one I'm doing, which is Buy or Sell. So this is something that, if you've seen Airtime Thrills series on it, it's exactly like that, but just in a live setting. Give me your predictions here in the chat, or your takes, and I'll say if I basically buy it or like it or not. That is pretty much that. I reached out to Chris to make sure I could do this, because even though it's not his original concept, this is a thing that's done in a lot of sports shows, as I've seen as well. He's the first person who brought this to the coaster community, and he was totally cool with me doing this, which is awesome. It's just it's a great it's a great segment that doesn't require a lot of prep, at least on paper. So that should be something. So with that being said, we'll do this for about 10 minutes probably. Yeah. So there we go. Do I think a spinning coaster dark ride could happen? I mean, yeah, although wait, I guess that's Gekion Live Coaster. So, I mean, yeah, it's already happened. But yes, I think we'll see more in the future. So, Knobles will, you don't have to say buy or sell either. I know that's like a thing for the comments, but I'll be able to tell with this. Knobles will build a new steel coaster by 2028. I'm gonna have to say no to that. Or actually, let's see. We're in 2022. 2028's a long time. I think we'll see it. I just don't know if it'll be a new thrilling coaster. It might be something more on the family side of things. But I think they'll get something. Whether that's picking up something that didn't survive or something like that. Mock multi-launch at King's Dominion. I'm actually working on a video on that subject. And I'm going to say no on that one. It makes sense. It would be a good fit for sure. I feel like King's Dominion will want something a little more original and unique to be a good serviceable replacement to Volcano. So if you're asking that as their next coaster, I'm going to say no. But there are some other Cedar Fair parks where I think that could definitely happen. Let's see, buy or sell. Carrick will eventually work in the amusement industry in some capacity. I'm a buy that. Unironically, I will. I mean, that's sort of what I'm sort of trying to build up to it in a little bit. I mean, the interviews and things of that sort, it's a good body of work to have. So I think yes, or at least hopefully. And I think it's something I'm interested in doing, so I'll buy it. Silver Dollar City will add 2 new coasters by 2030. So if you're not counting what they're doing with Fire in the Hole right now, their timeline really isn't good for suggesting they will. But there's also 8 years. That is tricky. Because we know that Dollywood's gonna be getting the new coaster, obviously. Now they have Kentucky Kingdom in the mix. I'm going to say yes, but probably barely. Like, yeah, it'll probably only be 2. And it'll probably be, like, pretty close to not happening. Like, I think that second coaster will probably happen at the end of the decade, and the first one will happen somewhere in kind of the middle. But yeah, I can see that. Let's see. Six Flags Great America. Yes, absolutely. I think that's our next coaster. So yes, for sure I'm buying that. 100%. RMC Raptor Worlds of Fun. Also buying that. It's the leading rumor. I don't really see what else makes a ton of sense as a sort of Zambezi Zinger spiritual successor. So yes, I will buy that. Oh god. Six Flags will change CEO in their direction before completing the transition to being a more upscale chain. It feels like something that would happen, right? But I think it feels like... I mean, I don't want it to happen. I'm going to say it won't happen. I think Six Flags will actually have the patience to stick with this guy. So, I think that's what's going to happen. Six Flags St. Louis will add a Raptor. I guess ever? Will they ever do it? I mean, man. How far is it from Worlds of Fun? I guess it's probably far enough that it probably wouldn't matter if they did it, but I honestly feel like it's one of those parks where it feels like they would get one and they probably won't. So I'm going to say no to that. So RMC will create variations of the single rail, invert family, etc. I bet they'll do a family thing. If they're going to do it with their hybrids, and now that Skyline's doing that too, I think they'll come up with something. So, yeah, I buy that. I think they'll find new ways to use a single rail track. I mean, that's got to be part of the plan, right? You don't just make that kind of track just for something like a Raptor or T-Rex. You have to have other plans in the future, I would think. I mean, obviously, those are already innovative attractions, but I would think there'd be a little more to it. So, yes, I buy that. There will be no new B&M floorless coasters outside of Asia through the 2020s. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's a pretty easy buy. I don't even know if we'll see one like anywhere at all. And definitely outside of Asia, I definitely buy that. Cedar Fair doesn't really work that much with RMC. Their issues, from what I understand, stemmed from the hybrids and their structural problems. I didn't hear that there were too many issues with the Raptors, and Cedar Fair, like, you can't you have to be willing to work with some manufacturers. You can't close yourself from everybody, and so you have to understand there are going to be issues with rides. But I think RMC, I think they'll be willing to work with them again. At least for Raptors. I mean, I don't know. We'll see about like actual conversions, but I think Raptors are probably fine. Let's see. Buy or sell. The Six Flags Great America Raptor will be a custom layout or a... I think it's going to be more like Jersey Devil type of layout. So I'm going to buy the Jersey Devil layout. Major dive coaster will be added to a Cedar Fair park by 2029. Once again, I'm working on a video kind of like that has this stuff in consideration. And so, keeping that in mind, I am going to say yes. I do think it will happen. Probably only one, to be honest, but there's a park that I definitely could see getting one. So, yeah. Six Flags Qiddiya will never open, and if they do, I think it'll open. So, I must say no to it never opening. And I think they would have a tilt coaster. And I think they have prepped. They will have some form of Falcon's Flight. So I'm gonna actually like sell most of that. Over Texas, no. I don't think they will be the first Six Flags park to get a Giga. I know the saying is everything is bigger in Texas, but if they were to ever put a Giga at one of their parks, I do not think Over Texas would be the one they would go with. But the only exception is if somehow there was a new prototype Giga that they wanted to buy that was somehow not that expensive, all things considered, and they might be considering it for a few different parks, and they might put it there. Like, that's the only scenario that I see, and even that sounds kind of ridiculous. So I do know that their strategy is changing, but Giga coasters are really expensive, so I don't know how many of those we're going to keep seeing, and Six Flags Qiddiya doesn't really matter because Six Flags isn't really funding that at all. So, in terms of what we can expect to see at Six Flags parks, the U.S. doesn't get another B&M wing coaster beyond the current 4. Oh, I'm selling that completely. There's gonna be another. I think for sure there's gonna be another one in the Cedar Fair chain. I think that Kings Island B&M Wing Coaster, I know we haven't heard about that thing in a while. I don't think it's going to go to Kings Dominion, but I think it's going to end up being a coaster that gets shipped somewhere else in the chain or becomes a project to some other park in the chain, such as potentially a Valley Fair, maybe even. So I think it'll happen. Hershen will acquire a park on the western side of the country in the next 10 years. This was a question, I think, did you ask Chris this? So they did try to purchase Silverwood last year. It's not something well known, but they did try to. There was an article about it. It was denied, but I don't think it's going to happen because there's not really a lot of options. Like in California, you don't really have a lot. Lagoon is probably your best bet, but is that really going to happen? Six Flags Discovery Kingdom would be really nice if they got that, but they're not probably. So, I'm going to say no. All right, so I'll answer the last few, and then we're gonna wrap this segment up. Let's see. Vekoma will work with Six Flags for a major new coaster soon. I think so. I think assuming the tilt coaster works out, I don't know if that's something they would consider, but I think it would be something cool to see at some Six Flags parks. We're gonna probably, yeah, I think so. I think that would be something that will happen. The amazing boom in new Chinese parks and coasters will stall this decade, and the Chinese industry will start to contract. It's already kind of... So here's the thing. I have heard from some places that Chinese parks are actually trying to get their steel coasters done by more in-house, like not in-house, but they're domestic manufacturers more than the foreign ones. Obviously, you still see some parks getting projects, but it's starting to stall. So yeah, I think that is already happening, and it will continue to happen. So yes, because they also had the whole Evergrande thing happen earlier last year. So yeah, I think that's happening for sure. Let's see. Cedar Fair, nope. Cedar Fair is not gonna work with Intamin to purchase any new coasters for a long time. That's the one where I don't really. That's one of those relationships that I think it's broken, like, completely. So that's definitely not going to happen. Intamin will try to improve on their launched inverts. I think they will. I just don't see... I mean, I think if given the opportunity, they would. And I'm sure that's something they're considering in-house. I don't think we see it happen because I don't think we see a demand for it. So I'm going to say no to that. Six Flags Magic Mountain will not attempt to retain their coaster collection record. Yeah, I think I'm going to buy that. Once Energylandia gets, like, pretty far above them, I think they're just going to be like, okay, we're the largest we have the largest coaster collection in the Western Hemisphere or something. Because they're going to retain that for a while, so they're not going to try to compete with Energylandia. So I agree with that. Alright, so I'll answer the one up to Theme Park Horizons, and then I'll I'll move on to the next thing. So let's see. A Vekoma Tilt Coaster will go to Six Flags Fiesta Texas. No. That would make no sense because they're getting Dr. Diabolicals this year. Definitely not happening. And also considering that Kodoland isn't that far away. Hershen will buy Frontier City. It's such a great it's a good idea on paper, and I could see Six Flags if with their new direction. I have heard the concept of them kind of downsizing and focusing on certain amount of parks. And I feel like if that were to be the case, Frontier City would definitely be one of the first to kind of be let go. So I honestly think yes. I think that is something that I like the idea of it, and I could legitimately see it happen. And I don't know if I would bet on it happening, but I think it definitely has a good chance of happening, if that makes sense. Six Flags Great Adventure will get a B&M dive. I don't really buy the idea of Six Flags giving a bunch of their parks B&M dives. I mean, they could, but I just don't see it, so I'm going to say no to that. A family B&M invert will come to the US. No, I don't think that would happen because unless it would go to like a Lego park, because Merlin is building those in their international Lego parks. Unless one of those parks got it, they're not gonna build we're not gonna see a family B&M invert. They're probably more expensive than the other things that are available. But I mean, I guess if Legoland California has the space, bring it on over. I would not mind one bit. So I think that's like the one place where I could see it. Fun Spot Orlando RMC Raptor in 2025. Fun Spot Orlando, yeah, I think so. I think Fun Spot, they're gonna want to keep that relationship going, and I think an RMC Raptor makes a ton of sense at either of the Orlando parks, but Orlando probably makes more sense. So yeah, I buy that. I think it'll happen for sure. I mean, 2025 is a long while too, so yeah, I think that'll happen. Alrighty, so that'll wrap up the buy or sell segment. Let me know in the chat if you like that. If you like that compared to like my prediction segment where I just give predictions. And the next segment we're going to do is actually I'm going to flip this around a little bit. Originally, I had viewer Collins next, but timing-wise, I think it'd be better if I did that toward the end a little bit, just delay it a little bit. So we're going to do our next sort of game segment, which is going to be Coaster Hangman. This was a segment inspired by, I mentioned it in the past, but I got the idea from Theme Park Guy Productions. He did it on his Instagram streams. Make sure to check him out on Instagram if you haven't already. But yeah, so that is going to be our next segment, and I'm gonna set it up real quick. Hopefully. Okay, so, and I still have not changed the, however, I still have not changed the look of it. So hopefully, okay, there we go. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. Actually, I'm going to try to do something to kind of enlarge it. That did not work. Oh well, okay. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. Let me know if you can't, so I can do that. But anyways, we're going to move on to our first round of Guess the Coaster. I mean, not Guess the Coaster, Roller Coaster Hangman. So basically how this works, it's Hangman, but with coaster names. So that's pretty much that. No actual hang person, because that would be way too much work on my end. So it's just whoever figures it out first wins, I suppose. And we are going to do 10 rounds. So with that being said, guess letters, guess names, whatever you want. It is not Raptor. It does not have a T. So no, it does not have a T in it. Let's see. I know the YouTube chat's gonna be so far behind. There is a U. Good snipe. There is one U, and there is one A, and one S. Oh shoot! Hold up. I think that's, yeah. There we go. Okay. There is no E, so there is no I, and there is no O. Oh my god, I don't know why. Oh wait, that's okay, that's why. Okay. All right. And Stamford Bridge got it right. Wow. Okay, it is Pulsar at Wallaby, Belgium. Nice. That is, I mean, I guess at that point your options were limited, but yeah, Goodluge, man, I still can't figure out how to pronounce the name, but you were close. But on my end, Stamford Bridge came first, so yeah. All right, we'll move on to round 2 then, and that'll be our next one, which will be a coaster that is probably more familiar to everyone. There are 2 T's. Not the Beast. Wow. All right. Good. I'm gonna say good. Got it first. It is New Texas Giant. Incredible snipe. That was one of the most. That is got to be the most impressive one up to this point. I mean, that was crazy. Really good guess there. Nice. Wow. That was crazy. All right. So next we have our next name. I don't have background music for this because I would need to figure it out. I know I had it for the Guess the Coaster, but I don't have it for this yet. Alrighty, so guess away. It is not Legend. There is no R. It is not Batman. It is not Dragon. There is no E either. But good guesses. Because they could fit. I'm not going to put the names of coasters as a no, because that would take me way too long. There is no A. There is no I. There is no S. There is an O. Oh, come on. All right. There is one P. All right, we're getting onto something here, I suppose. Oh, someone put in a there is no D. I just saw that came up. There is no U. Is not Patriot. Hello, Andre. And then, let's see. It is not Patriot. There is no L. Oh my god. But there is a Y. And there is a T. And there is an N. And Stamford Bridge got it. It is Python. So let's get that up. Alrighty, so yep, Python, specifically the one at Efteling. So there you have it. Stamford Bridge got it first for me, but JB Thrills, Civilian Satellite, Quacken, and Good got it next. So like really close. So good job to everybody. Next we have our next coaster. So guess away. Oh, dang, I was going to be your first one, and then COVID came. Yikes, that's rough. Wow, all coming in fast. There is no I. There is no A. It's not Ultimate. However, we do have one E. No U, but there is one S. And then, so, let's see. No U, no I. There is an O. It's not Racer 75. There is no T. No D, no N, no M, no B, no L, no V. This one is, I guess, kind of a tricky one when it comes to, there are, okay, there we go, we're getting somewhere. There are multiple R's and multiple C's. Probably at this point anyone's guess. It's not Cobra's Curse. Civilian Satellite got it first on my end. It is Corkscrew, quickly followed by Quacken, Stamford Bridge, JB Thrills, and whoever else follows at this point on my chat screen. Alrighty, so next we have our next one, which this one, that is an apostrophe for anyone who's a little confused. So I just put it in there because I guess it's helpful, maybe. We'll see what happens, though. But that is our next name. There is an S. Guess pretty obviously, but yes. It is not Cobra's Curse. I just saw that. It's not Cobra's Curse. You can't do this to me. If you put all the letters like that, that is like just total. I mean, okay. So there is one A. There is multiple E's. As in multiple, I guess that's like 2. There is one I. It is not Joker's Revenge, and it is not Apollo's Chariot. Oh, I should have put in, I don't think I put no P yet, so. Let me just make sure I got them all, so I don't not throwing anybody off. It looks like I got everything. There is an L. There is no F, no U, but there is one R, I guess. Okay, Stanford Bridge, got it, at least on my end. It is Merlin's Mayhem. That is the correct answer. So, there you go. Merlin's Mayhem. Alrighty, next, we got our next one, which is another one that actually also has an apostrophe. So, I guess, yeah, that was a good snipe from Stanford. That was really good, actually. But we have our next coaster. Yep, there is an S. Usually gonna be how that goes, but only one. It is not Cobra's Curse, eventually, right? There is actually no I in this one. And no T either. Let's see. It's not Cobra's Curse, not Cobra's Curse. There is one E. There is no F. There is an R. And there is an A as well. And there is an M. There is no L. But there are 2 O's. No N though. At this point, it's probably pretty easy to get. There, no I, already got that. Civilian Satellite and Quackin and Stanford got it right. It is Zach's Zoomer, the wooden coaster at Michigan's Adventure. Alrighty, so now we'll move on to round 7. These are pretty long. I'll probably like kind of cut these down in the future, but still a pretty fun segment just because it's crazy how some of you guys are able to get it super quick. So there you go. But anyways, here we are at round 7. There's no apostrophe in this one. There is one N. Yeah, only one. It is not Riddler Revenge. It's not Twisted Cyclone. It's not Phantom. It's not Phantom's Revenge. It's not Wicked Cyclone. Let's see what else comes in. Let's see. There is an A. There is no C. Believe it or not, there is actually no T either. Crazy. It is not Georgia Cyclone. All cyclones have died because there's no C. It cannot be a cyclone of any sort. There is two L's. I believe. Yes. There is no S. There's no E either. Crazy. I know, it's like, how? Alright, but there are 3 O's. And now we'll see how quickly this can go. Their A is already in there. There are 2 I's. There's no Q. And Civilian Satellite got it right. It is Olympia Looping. There we go. Which, yeah, I guess it does avoid a lot of letters that you would be like, that's surprising, but there you have it. Alright, we're going to move on to our next one, which, I mean, it's a pretty short name, but does not necessarily make it easy. I guess we'll see. Alrighty. Wow, it's looking pretty windy outside today. I guess it's nice because usually it's really hot this time of year. It is not Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain. There is no M. There is no F. There are 2 E's. It's not Demon or Damon. And Quacken got it right, at least first for me. It is indeed Legend at Holiday World, which was actually guessed earlier, so I guess foreshadowing. But yeah. Alright, this next one, get ready for this. Boom. Alright, so good luck to you guys on this one. This one is, I mean, it might be quick, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it will be, but I guess we'll see how this one goes. There are no numbers. There is one A out of the entire name. There's just one. Pretty crazy. It's not Big Bad John. I don't think that would get me demonetized, but I'm not gonna mention what Quacken said in case it does. 1 E, I think. Yep. Wow, this one really is crazy. There is no S. Oh, you didn't see the 4th line? Yeah, there is. There is a few T's. There is 1 R. Yeah, this is a special one. There is multiple N's. There is no B's. Okay, Stamford Bridge got it. I'll give you the credit. If whoever can say the full first thing, I guess, well, there you go. He did it. But yeah, John Wick open contract is the correct answer. Oh yeah, shoot, you would have an advantage with this. But yeah, that's the correct answer. Wow. Yep, that is it. So, there you go. And then we'll go to our last one, which thankfully will be easier than that one. Yes, that is a coaster. It is at Motion Gate in Dubai. It's the SNS 40 free spin. It's not, I mean, it's not that obscure of a coaster because, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a 40 free spin. So, and it is at Motion Gate. So, I don't think it's that obscure. Civilian Satellite, I don't even think that one would be worth doing because everyone would know what it is if I did that one. I mean, there's really, I mean, yeah, I don't think it's worth it at that point. All right, is there an A in it? Yes, multiple. Is there an S? Nope. Is there an O? Yes. And, wow, Stamford Bridge, Mr. Showbiz Guy, Mr. Color Roaster, Civilian Satellite, Quackin', and Good all got it. It is Anaconda. It's actually not the one you're thinking of. It's actually, I do this through RCDB and get recognizable coasters. So this is specifically the one at Gold Reef City. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm not going to force people to try to figure out which park it's at, but that is the correct answer. This coaster is actually the invert. So yeah, but I mean, it's a common coaster name. You could apply it to Kings and Minions, whatever, but there you have it. So that is our roller coaster hangman. Oh wait, why did it that's weird. It stayed on the screen. That's really weird. That's not supposed to happen. Huh. Okay. Well, that was a view of the stream document if no one's ever seen that. But anyways, next we're gonna do. Actually, I think this is a good time for viewer call-ins. So, for anyone who wants to, I'm gonna put this for anyone who wants to call in from StreamYard. Give your thoughts specifically on some of the news we went over earlier, or just news in recent times, or some of the rumors like the Worlds of Fun coaster, what Cedar Point's doing, the Valley Fair rumblings that have been going on, the Dorney Park teaser, the Knott's Giga, the Surf Coaster trailer, or I guess I should say Knott's Mini Hyper, any of that. Or just any of the actual news in general. You can talk about that along with potentially your own predictions for the future and the most anticipated coasters you want to ride this year. I have done this segment in the past. But yeah, but anyone who wants to come on and call in, if anyone does, we will be doing it through StreamYard. I've just pinned the link. The link is also in the description, so anyone who wants to come on, you can. If that isn't something that people are wanting to do today, then we'll do something like that, another viewer call in another time, because I realized this Saturday might have been not the best time to do a stream like this, because for a lot of people it's pretty early in the summer, so a lot of people are going to be visiting parks and things of that sort. But anyways, yeah, so just if you want to come on, click the link and you'll be in the backstage. So I'll wait a little bit on that, I suppose. I guess this would have been a good, like, kind of Q&A thing, but, or actually, I guess we can just get started if that works. That might just be best. So, I have JB Thrills in the back room, so I'm gonna just chat, make sure everything's good. Like I said, I'm gonna bring viewers on who want to give their reactions on whatever news that has happened somewhat recently they want. You can talk about that. We can discuss that. We can also talk about the your predictions for the future, what you think might be happening in the industry in the near future or far future. And then some of the most anticipated coasters you are wanting to ride this year, whether it's like brand new coasters or coasters that are new for you, or just even rewriting, whatever it may be that you're looking forward to riding. And then, yeah, it's going to be pretty much it. Similar to what I did whenever the last time I did one of these streams was. So with that being said, I'm going to bring on JB Thrills first. He came in, so I'm just going to make sure that is good. And then I'll bring you on a like sort of 5, 3, 2, 1 countdown, I suppose. All right, so then that's that. Go into this format. So alrighty, so I'm gonna bring you on JB Thrills in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. JB Thrills, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. I mean, this stream doing it has been awesome to get back into it, and it's cool to do this segment again. So really looking forward to your thoughts on the news and everything else. So I guess if you want to introduce yourself, your channel, you can do that right now.
Well, okay, yeah. So for those who don't know, I'm JB Thrills. I've had my channel for maybe 3 years now. I'm currently at 3,300 subscribers, somewhere there. And I make a lot of predictions and Texas content.
Yep. Sort of like kind of a local Texas sort of channel is a lot of your content relates to there, which is pretty cool, pretty awesome. So, and your predictions, you've been pretty good with those. So, really good to have you on here for this. So with that being said, so of the recent news things or some of the recent rumors, what are some things that have sparked your interest and why?
Definitely, well, out of all the news, the one that stood out to me the most was definitely the surf coaster, because I did not expect SeaWorld to announce it anytime soon. And the fact that they just like teased us with it, not even like announce the name or anything like that. And the fact that it's a stand-up coaster too.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to see them do it this early. I'm sure probably the leaks and stuff probably kind of prompted them to, is my guess. But it's really cool to see them do it, and it being a new generation stand-up is definitely very intriguing.
Most definitely. And the fact that I also predicted that too, that's another shocking thing.
How far back? Or
Uh,
what did you predict? The surf coaster going to SeaWorld or the stand-up aspect of it?
the stand-up aspect, definitely.
Nice.
It was like, I don't know, when we first saw the permits for the coaster, and as soon as I thought of surf coaster, the first thing I thought of was standing up. So I did like a little concept art of it with the two-seater and it having like a surfing theme to it.
Wow, nice.
So yeah, it's definitely surprising, honestly.
Any other recent news or rumors that have piqued your interest?
Definitely the news that Knott's Giga will probably be like a mini hyper. That's really intriguing and interesting on what they'll do with that.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing's pretty crazy. Well, definitely something to monitor. It definitely seems like a project that at this point is probably more in like the future planning, like 2024, because they haven't really gotten any work done to prep the land or anything. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure, with what they're going to do with that project.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to see what it ends up being.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you mentioned earlier, you do a lot of predictions. Do you have any specific predictions for the future of the amusement industry you would like to share here?
I do think that now theme parks are gonna want to step it up. They probably will. We'll probably see like bigger coasters, maybe the first Vekoma Blitz coming to America, or like Six Flags getting coasters you would not expect. Like them getting a dive coaster was really unexpected. So if they're really gonna up their budget, we could definitely see like really great quality coasters in the future.
For sure. And it's interesting because I know with Six Flags, they said that they were going to. I saw somewhere they said they were gonna focus less on adding like new additions, which I don't know what you would say, like depending on reading that, but maybe that could be that they might not get. They're not gonna give every park a new attraction every year. I think that's pretty obvious, but perhaps they can spend more on bigger additions, just less per year. So that's definitely something really intriguing and something that I think we could see in the future for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's been a lot of changes in Six Flags recently. Like I've actually heard that they actually announced that they removed the entertainment division of Six Flags recently.
Ooh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so I don't know what they're gonna do as a food quality. I mean, it didn't really go up by much recently. The only thing that they did was basically up the prices a bit and change fries to chips.
Oof. I
So
know.
yeah,
Oh, my bad. I know that they're raising prices on things. I mean, it is the first year of the new CEO, so I'm hoping things get better as the years go along. I figured this year might just be a little bit rough with a lot of things, but I guess we'll have to see what happens.
yeah, as always, something never like starts off great. So, we'll probably just see improvement over time.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something to hopefully look forward to.
For sure.
Are there any coasters that you are anticipating riding this year? Or I guess, what are like some of your most, if you are riding any coasters this year, what are some of the ones you're most anticipating riding?
Definitely Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. That's definitely my most anticipated because its opening is like really soon and it's rumored to open around June. So that's something. Also, Aquaman Power Wave. They finally actually installed the turntable. So it's starting to move along quicker. So maybe more chance to ride that soon.
Yeah, I mean, Texas, it's a good year for new coasters over there. As you mentioned, Dr. Diabolical. That definitely is an exciting looking project. And Aquaman, it sounds like, and hopefully that it's moving along. So, two projects that I definitely can understand why you'd be definitely have to check out.
Yep, as well as the tilt coaster for Codaland. That's also something super exciting to do.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely a little far future, but yeah, that looks really exciting.
Yeah, like who knew Codaland, some small theme park, would get something like a tilt coaster and that Gerstlauer.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird with their social media presence. It's practically non-existent. It's kind of weird that a park like that is still kind of building up even their things as simple as their website and their social media are getting two significant coasters like that. I find it just pretty funny.
Yeah, same here.
It's pretty crazy. But yeah, no, those are definitely some exciting projects. So with that being said, is there anything else you would like to talk about or
Like that I've been on.
say? Like just is there anything else you would like to talk about while you're on here that we didn't necessarily cover earlier, or not? That I guess that was my question.
I recently did was checking out the new attraction for Over Texas. They actually got a
You're cutting out a bit on my end. JB Thrills, you're cutting out a bit on my end. Yeah, I can't hear you right now. Chat, can you hear him? Hold up. I hope it's not something on my end. Um let's see. Quacken can't hear. JB Thrills, oh wait, I think you accidentally muted or maybe okay. Test. Still can't hear you if you're saying something. Let's see. Yeah, leave and then rejoin. I think that's probably the move. So I'll wait for him to come back. That should be the fix. Sorry about that. Happening. Sometimes StreamYard's a little whack, so. But we should get him back on pretty quickly here. But as you could hear, like, there's a lot of exciting things going on in Texas, so exciting time to be an enthusiast over there. Alrighty, JB Thrills, I'm gonna bring you back on right now, so here we go.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Sorry about that. My computer got slow.
You're good.
As I was trying to say, was that one thing I recently did was checking out the new attraction for over Texas. They got a brand new dark ride.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And honestly, its theming is like something that Six Flags you're not expecting to do that at all.
That's really good to hear because they are lacking in the theming department in terms of their like just rides in general. So it's definitely good to see that.
Yeah, it's very hopeful for Six Flags, honestly.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned Dr. Diabolicals. That's another one that's going to be intriguing in terms of the level of theming they put in the queue because I know they've been advertising that a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's really awesome. So anything else you want to say before this ends, or is that?
That's pretty much it. Just I'm happy to be on the stream, and thanks for letting everybody be on here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. Really good to hear some insight about the Texas projects and your thoughts on them. And Six Flags as well, because they definitely have an intriguing future. So appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. Thanks for being on.
Alrighty, see ya.
See ya.
Alrighty, so there you have it. Like I said, I mean, I guess I'll just say it again, but a lot of exciting projects going on in Texas. Six Flags, gonna be interesting to monitor their future. So definitely some intriguing things there to keep an eye on, along with the surf coaster, of course. Alrighty, so we have Quackin in the backstage. So I'm going to make sure that everything's good. And then I'll bring you on a countdown once I get the confirmation. Alrighty, so we're gonna be going. Oh shoot, he just came off. Alright, so I'll wait a little bit for him to come back on. And after this, we'll probably go straight to actually final Q&A. I think some of the segments took a little longer than I anticipated, so I think that's going to be the plan. So there we go. All right. You love the mini trend of reviving old dark rides. Over Texas is doing it, and then Knott's is also doing it. So yeah, that's great to see. And then Prairie Screamer is another cool project to keep an eye on for sure. So I agree with that. Alrighty, so Quackin, give a thumbs up if you're good. Alright, should be good. So I'm going to bring you on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quackin, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, perfect. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I see you're wearing... My screen's tiny. I can't see the team. Oh, the Rams. There we go. Super Bowl champions. That's sick.
Oh, man. I'm so happy that my team's been so bad for so long, but we finally got it. We got it done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Falcons fan, so that's pretty brutal, but happy you guys get the Super Bowl win this season. That's obviously really exciting, and all the crazy trades and everything paying off, so you love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a great team on paper, and it really did pay off for sure.
Awesome. So with that being said, Do you have any reactions or any news or rumors that have piqued your interest recently?
Well, Worlds of Fun. I went back. I went there a few weeks ago, and I spoke with a few employees, and they said that there is a new roller coaster coming for their 50th anniversary. It's going to be going where the Dinosaurs Alive area is, and it looks like land clearing has started. From what they said, they're currently working on a manufacturer for the ride, which I would have thought that they probably would have had this set in stone by now, but at the same time, I'm not really positive about an RMC Raptor. I think they really need a launch coaster, um, because they don't have one. They don't have a ride like Possessed or Steel Venom like that. So I think that they could use a launch coaster before they could get a Raptor. But that's just me. I mean, I guess the popular rumor is a Raptor coming to Worlds of Fun, which I would not complain, obviously.
It's the popular rumor, but it's not what from people I've heard. It's not one that a ton of people have like a lot of confidence in. I'm sure they've figured out the manufacturer by now. It just might not be known to the employees because I'm not sure how that stuff like kind of trickles down in terms of information. But yeah, a launch coaster. I think that would be the ideal fit. It's just that would definitely be depending on what they got, it would probably be more expensive than something like a Raptor. Would probably be kind of the deal there, but any which way,
Yeah, even if they got
gotta
like
be
a
happy.
Gerstlauer Infinity coaster that has a launch like some of the ones in Europe do, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be really nice. So that's another good option for them. So yeah. Any other ones? Any other news that piqued your interest?
I heard about the Screamscape rumor. Of course, take that with a grain of salt regarding Dragster.
Yes.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I think it is done, unfortunately. I just don't see Cedar Fair willing to put in the money to redo the queue line, which would be really the way they'd get it to safely reopen. It's been such a headache for them. I I just don't see them putting in the money to refix it. It's been such a maintenance nightmare. I hope I'm proven wrong, but I mean, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I'm kind of in the same boat that I think it's done, and we'll see, but it's not looking really good right now. So, but a lot to be sorted out. So we'll see what happens. Um, I guess I think I guess we'll move on to if you have any predictions for the future of the amusement industry. Any potential predictions you have?
Um, well, I'm really thinking. Well, I've been keeping tabs on Silver Dollar City's construction of how they're redoing Fire in the Hole. I think that that'll be one of the two new coasters that they get this decade. I think another one could potentially be a B&M Hyper that goes way out into the woods, which, being my home park, I think that'd be fantastic. As for like major chains, I think that I don't think Hershend will be acquiring any more parks, just because their options are pretty limited. A lot of parks that um, are currently like independent, I don't think that they'd be willing to sell off by any means. And then regarding Six Flags and their new CEO, I really don't, I really don't know how that's going to work out. I think we'll just have to take some time, because you look at it. I hope the quality goes up for sure, but we'll have to wait and see.
For sure. Yeah, I think I mentioned this a while back with especially the Six Flags CEO. There's definitely been a lot of price increases throughout the chain, and so I think it's something where things might kind of get worse for a little bit before they get better. And to go through with that sort of vision, that requires patience, which is something Six Flags hasn't really shown. So hopefully
No.
hopefully they stick around if it's looking like hopefully they give it a chance, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, patience is not in their vocabulary.
Yeah, not at all. So, and then Hershen, you do bring up a good point with the independent parks as well. Like, the options are pretty limited. My thinking might be if, like I mentioned, but like say a Six Flags was like, maybe we don't want some of the smaller parks in the chain. Maybe Hershen would maybe like want some of those or one of those. That's potentially an option I see, but that we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And if Six Flags does sell one of their parks to Hershey, I think they'd be putting it in pretty good hands, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. What was I? Oh yeah. So, do you have any coasters for this upcoming season, year that you're anticipated or excited to ride?
Well, for brand new ones, I'm hoping to go to the brand new Lost Island theme park up in Iowa. It's about a
Nice.
7.5, 8 hour drive, something like that, depending on how fast you drive. So, I mean, I wish gas wasn't so high, or else I'd be traveling around a lot more personally. But I'll be going there. I'll be going to Florida later this year, so I'll get to ride Iron Gwazi, Velocicoaster, and I'll do Hagrid's for the first time, so that'll be really fun. Um, there's a chance I may go to Virginia as well, so potentially going to Busch Gardens and King's Dominion. So I get to ride Pantheon. I haven't done Twisted Timbers yet, so a lot of good stuff that is coming around that I'll get to ride. And hopefully by the time I get to Florida, hopefully Tron will be open at Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
So
are you planning to go this year?
yeah, it'll be in December. So I mean,
Probably. I would say I wouldn't expect it, but if it is, that's awesome.
yeah, I'm I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that it'll be like a late December or like 2022 opening. But if it's not, then it gives me a reason to go back. I mean, because Tron really does look awesome.
For sure. That's a lot of good stuff going on. Hopefully when you go Madugani is open because we'll see how that's gonna operate, but that's definitely an intriguing ride for sure. Virginia, a lot of good coasters there, and obviously two incredible looking parks, and Florida's got a ton of stuff right now, so that's really exciting.
And as for the Lost Island deal, that I won't be going for like opening day or anything. I'll be probably go on a weekend later in the summer. So I'm sure Madugani will be open by then.
Yeah, that's probably smart. Let them kind of iron things out a little bit because we don't really see parks open like for the first time here in the U.S. that often anymore in terms of major new parks. So
I think the last one was like, wasn't it American Dream in 2019?
yeah,
Something like
yep,
that?
that was the last one. And
Yeah,
before that, I don't even know what it was.
probably like that park in Owa in Alabama or something.
Yeah, if you could
But
consider that. I mean, I guess it is kind of major.
kind of, but and hopefully the log flume, if you remember right, for Lost
Oh
Island,
yeah.
the control panel was destroyed by a fire. They said they're hoping to have that open later in the summer too, so that might be open.
I don't want to say it was confirmed. I feel like I saw something relating to it that I know it would get delayed from opening, but it might be further. But hopefully, if that's not, then yeah, hopefully it does open later in the summer because I'm sure it would be a great ride.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. It looks like the park as a whole looks very well themed, and it looks like it could be one of the better themed log flumes outside of like Disney or Universal.
Yeah, theming is really the interesting thing for this park, one of the more intriguing aspects because it looks like it has some really good theming, which you don't see too often outside of Disney and Universal. So really good to see.
Yeah, hopefully, like when I go to Universal, it won't be 50 degrees, and I'll do Dudley Do rides or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's Florida. It should be okay, hopefully. So,
Yeah.
alrighty. So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we wrap this up?
Um, Well, I just wanted to say thanks for having me. Hope best of luck for all of your future live streams. I know whatever you're going to do is going to work out really well. And I want to say you have probably the best live streams I've seen out there on the platform. I've been really impressed.
Thank you. That means a lot. I mean, I guess I started off the stream saying that the return of the best coaster live streams, but it really means a lot to hear it, and I really appreciate you coming on. You've come on a few times now, if I'm correct, so always a pleasure to have you on and hear your thoughts on different things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to be here. And like I said, best of luck for all of your future work on your channel.
Thank you so much, and really appreciate you coming on. So, yeah, any last words?
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Already awesome. So, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you later.
All right. Well, have a good one.
Alrighty, awesome. So, Quacken, definitely a lot of like Lost Island is like super intriguing to me. Definitely one of the more intriguing projects in general. And it's cool to hear that he actually talked to people from Worlds of Fun relating to the project potentially going on there. So that was really cool to hear some information about that. So really appreciate you coming on, and as I do everybody. We have Aaron from Coaster Chal in backstage. So I'll make sure that you're good to go. All right, you ready? And then, so I'll bring you in on a countdown. Former Coaster Time guest coming in of viewer call-in. I think that's a first. So with that being said, I'll bring you on, Aaron, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I've just finished interviewing a Slovakian ice hockey journalist for the other channel. How are you doing?
Doing good, and that sounds awesome. So really good timing on your end, I guess both of us. So but happy to hear that you're doing well.
Yeah, honestly, things are moving mad these days. I've done a couple of really exciting stuff, a really exciting audition, which I cannot speak about yet, but if I get through, this could be a major deal for me, and it means me traveling over to the United States, which is exciting.
Wow.
Pretty big deal. So, yeah, it's just been non-stop amazing. It's just been an amazing life so far.
Yeah, best of luck to you on that. I mean, that does sound like a major breakthrough. So I really hope things roll your way. And I mean, that is awesome. So fingers crossed.
Thank you very much.
And so I guess my first thing is, do you have any pieces of news or rumors that have piqued your interest recently?
I think, especially from my end in the UK, in Europe, and etc. Obviously, we've had different construction updates. We've had a confirmed opening date for the new 10 looping coaster at Flamingo Land. I'm literally just about to find that now.
July 2nd, I believe, was the date.
Yeah, I think it's something like July 2nd. I had it written down somewhere. But yeah, so that was one of the big things. And obviously the name got revealed as well. It sounds like the name's going to be either in version with the 10 in the name, or it's going to be called Sick, spell S-I-K. Is that a good name? If Flamingo Land markets it right, then yes. And they have done stuff in the past where they've marketed stuff, really, really well. They've got a Zamperla vertical swing there that opened back in 2012. That was going to be called the Monkey Puzzle Tree. Now, instead they went with Pterodactyl. Oh, that was the rumor anyway from earlier. Then they went with Pterodactyl officially. I was a bit interested because Pterodactyl was quite an overused name quite a few times for different rides around the world. So I was like, oh, well, they're going to make this different. They did well with the marketing, the logo and the branding and the theming around the ride. They did it really well. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they do some nice design with the logo for this, if it's going to be called Sick. And hopefully the advert is going to be giving us a nausea warning. But overall, yeah, I think Flamingo Land, hopefully if they market it right, it'll be done very well. One of the big things going on is over at Polton's. Now, Polton's is a family thrill park. Just recently they opened Tornado Springs, and it seems like they've begun surveying for their next major projects and their next major area of the park. And this was way back at the end of May. And this is the pictures that we saw of the surveying was taking place around the Cobra and the Edge ride. Now, this was a corner of the park that's needed developing for a long, long time now. So it'll involve Cobra, Edge, Magma, the go-kart site, I'm sure, will be demolished. There's like 2 kids rides near the Cobra called Seal Falls and Digger Ride. Those 2 will probably get demolished or moved elsewhere if they want to keep the kids' rides. And they're literally going to use this entire grassland, and it's going to be probably maybe Edge relocating to the go-kart site, because I think they've had a trouble with planning application for the Edge site already in the past. So they've had to really fight to keep the Edge in its location when it opened in 2009. They have this whole planning court order in 2010 and stuff like that. So I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Edge got relocated to the go-kart site, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they removed the Edge ride, because this particular Zampella Disco, from what fans have been saying over the past few months, is looking a little bit worse for wear compared to recent years. So maybe it's getting towards the end of its life cycle and maybe putting in a newer model as part of the new area. But it seems like that area of the park seems to be the next one getting a major upgrade. I wouldn't say 2023. I'd probably say 2024 in time for Thorpe Park's new coaster, alongside many other editions. So I'd probably say that this is going to be a 2024 edition. And 2024 is already shaping up to be a big year for the UK, with Nemesis getting a full retrack at Alton Towers and a full redo and refurbishment. Project Exodus at Thorpe Park, UK's tallest coaster. This now popping up. Drayton will probably do something. Chessington might have something up their sleeve. So it seems like 2024 seems to be the next big year for the UK. So I really wouldn't be surprised if it's 2024. But yeah, it seems like Polton's and Flamingo Land seems to be kind of dominating the UK headlines. I mean, obviously Drayton Manor opened their new Vikings area these past couple of weeks, and it looks amazing. Really sad that I couldn't get down to the opening day, but overall I would say it's looking fabulous. We also have the confirmation that the Drop Tower Apocalypse will leave the park at the end of the season, per my inside source rumors. You know, I've had the inside source from Drayton Manor for months and months, about over a year now, and they told me over a year ago that Pandemonium and Apocalypse and the little test track attraction will all get removed for a new coaster project as part of like a phase 2 for this Vikings section. Pandemonium's gone. Test track will be probably on its way out at the end of the season, and Apocalypse is now going at the end of the season. So everything he said is spot on. So it's pretty much safe to say that next year Drayton's getting a new coaster. I can probably say that for a fact. Whether it's themed to Vikings or not, we don't know, but more than likely it will be. More than likely. So yeah, the UK scene seems to be really hotting up. In terms of Europe, I mean, Parque Warner Madrid started adding more on their trench for their new launch coaster for next year. It's sort of I think we're looking at sort of a Pantheon style launch coaster for Parque Warner Madrid. Last coaster I think was more than 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So much needed addition, and finally time for the park to get a new coaster. And I'm glad that it's going to be something like Pantheon or Totalis that's coming to Park Asterix in a year or so. So I think Parque Warner Madrid sort of dominating the early headlines for European news. And obviously we had the stuff from SeaWorld about the surf coaster. It's my first chance I've had opportunity to have to react to this. And from what I saw from it, I like the look of it. I think first of all, it's great getting the stand-up coaster sort of prototype back up and running. But a stand-up wheel launch? mate. B&M starting to up their game now. You look at the surf coaster, you look at all these other projects going on with B&M, the dive coaster at Fiesta Texas, Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. You got all these other projects worldwide, some innovative designs, and you're sort of looking at even Chessington's new coaster next year in the UK. You know, that's going to be a launched B&M shuttle wing coaster, which is the first of its kind in the world. And you're looking at Bolliger and Mabillard and what they're doing right now, and it's sort of like, hang on a second, Bolliger and Mabillard are stepping up their game here. So yeah, I'm really excited what B&M's doing. Like I said, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens now from B&M, where they go next. You know, what their next up and coming projects are. When's the next pictures coming from the factory? And yeah, it should be very exciting. And also, Wonder Woman at Magic Mountain is almost complete in terms of construction, so that's obviously very
Just
exciting.
got topped off, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very exciting as well. So, like I said, there's a lot of things going on. Princess and the Frog in 2024 at Disneyland. You know, that's going to be the retheme of Splash Mountain. So, very exciting project there. The possibility of a Fast and Furious drift coaster at Universal in a couple of years. That's very exciting, because I think if they creating a project like that, I think could be very exciting for the park. I think it could be a really nice attraction. If only they replace it, if they put it in the building where Fast and Furious Supercharged is, put it in that building and get rid of that supercharged attraction, because it is awful. Just non-stop screens. You know, I remember the days of Disaster, a major motion picture starring you. And that was a really good attraction, and we are moving on. So that was a wonderful attraction. To see it get replaced by something very IP based, just a bunch of screens, not much effort in theming, it just didn't feel like a great attraction for me. So if they can replace that with this indoor drift coaster, I'd be a very happy man. I'd be a very happy gaffer. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on around the world, especially in the UK and Europe. But yeah, it's been hotting up over the last sort of few days, last week.
Yeah, I mean, you putting together, like, I didn't realize, like, how many things kind of consistently and kind of quickly and close together. The UK is getting attractions. That was horribly worded, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. But like, yeah, I mean, 2023, 2024 look pretty intriguing. Drayton Manor getting a new coaster. Chessington getting the B&M launch shuttle coaster, which is definitely something very unique. And then 2024, as you mentioned, Nemesis Retrack, the Thorpe Park Project Exodus. And then, it seems like from what I had heard as well, the Paulton's Park thing would be whatever it is, a 2024 type of edition, most likely. So that's definitely really intriguing. And you mentioned the Flamingo Land coaster. It is confirmed to be called Sick. It's actually because the coaster is going to be an advertising tie-in to Sick, a fashion company called Sick Silk. And so that, yeah, I know. It's
Why do parks not learn that IPs are not the direction to go in unless you are Disney or Universal or Six Flags, for God's sake?
The thing that drives me nuts is, like, why I mean, calling it Sick is a terrible name considering it's a 10 inversion coaster. But if the company they were working with was literally called Sick Silk, the coaster has white track. Just call it Silk. I mean, it's not a great name, but it's better than Sick. I just don't understand why they wouldn't go with that.
I mean, I would literally take a name like Apocalypse over Sick. I would rather take a name that is getting overused 1,000,000 times over a name that means Jack and is linked to a fashion company. I mean, yeah, it's perfect to get these relationships with these companies, get them noticed. Yeah, it's fantastic. Is the coaster story going to be about going through a fashion show? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we see RuPaul and Lady Gaga down the top of the lift hill. I mean, oh god, it's great having that kind of partnership, and fair play to Flamingo Land for getting that partnership and trying to get the company out there, but not for a roller coaster. Stick to the shops.
Yeah, I agree. It's just as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Wow, that's really weird." It's like I already thought the name was weird anyways, and then the explanation left me just even more like, "Really?" So,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm literally on the edge of just creating a video tomorrow that is just slating this, but I don't want to slate it because I want to see the positives. I want to see the positives that you're giving a company a chance to get their name on the map, which is great for local businesses. It's great for companies nationally and locally and all that lot. It's great for them, but for the coaster enthusiasts, it's just not good enough from a coaster standpoint. It's just, if they can pull off a story that turns my mind and turns my eye to this, then fair play. They've pulled a sickie on me. But I mean, it's going to be very hard to do that with the story they're going with this and the reason behind the partnership. It's like I said, I prefer something like Apocalypse, or even if they just built a few little stone pillars around it and called it Medusa and named it after the Roman gods. I would be happy. I'd just be happy with that, to be honest. I would be happy if they called it Colossus. And you know how? And there's a 10 looping coaster. There's a 10 looping coaster called Colossus at Thorpe Park. For those of you out there that don't know, I would be happy if they called it Colossus and themed it to the power of 10 like Thorpe Park do. I'd take that over Sick and theming it to a fashion company. Like, I'm just expecting an opening day with a runway, a load of models, and then a big fashion designer like Gucci or someone just drives into Flamingo Land and opens the coaster himself. I'm expecting like a fashion show for the opening ceremony. I'm expecting something to do with fashion for the opening ceremony. Like, I don't know, like someone wears a dress theme to Kamali, someone wears a shirt theme to Mumbo Jumbo, someone wears a NASCAR outfit and says it's themed to Velocity, the motorbike coaster next door, or something like that. Just like fashion themed to rides for the opening ceremony. I'm just when they announced the name and the description behind it, I just thought of some wacky scenarios as to how they're going to open this ride on the day. Just really weird scenarios, like we're talking Alice in Wonderland type crazy. It just that was the one thing that sort of made me want to drink some really hard stuff today. It really did. It made me get the John Smiths out the can, not just for the Jubilee celebration, but because it made me get drunk. It was just one of those scenarios. But I mean, the rest of the news out there is great. I mean, Toverland's getting 4 new rides, 2 big, 2 small, as part of their expansion for their Phoenix themed area, their Avalon area. One of them is a free fall drop tower, so I'm really looking forward to that. That's coming next year for Toverland. So it's great to see they're still investing. But yeah, Flamingo Land for me is just the major disappointment. Just the major disappointment. I think it was a runway runaway. I think that's the best way to describe this ride. A runway runaway.
Yeah, it's just, I guess I don't even know. It's just
It was
really
a fashion
weird
disaster.
decision. Yes, that's about the best way you can describe it. So,
Fashion land disaster.
do you have any potential predictions for the future of the amusement industry? Was the next thing I was going to ask.
I mean, I've been trying to get my predictions in for Six Flags and which parts I think could be getting coasters next year. I sort of came to the conclusion of Six Flags over Texas. Sorry, St. Louis fans, you thought I was going to say your part then. Six Flags over Texas, Six Flags over, maybe Six Flags over Texas, but definitely Six Flags New England and Six Flags over Georgia. I think they're the two that are probably more likely than anyone to get a coaster. I think in terms of water coasters, in terms of the launched water coasters, Magic Mountain's got a chance, Great Adventure's got a chance, Darien Lake maybe again, Great Escape maybe again, La Ronde if they're adding anything, apart from some events. I mean, I think, but in terms of actual coast, I think probably New England and over Georgia are probably the most likely to get coasters. I would probably say New England to get maybe like a single rail or a max force, and then maybe over Georgia to get either a free spin or maybe go down the max force route instead. In terms of other predictions, I think Worlds of Fun's getting an RMC single rail next year. I think that's my prediction now. Originally, I was thinking maybe a launch coaster, some kind of Mac launch coaster or something like that. But I'm thinking probably it's going to be a single rail on that Dinosaurs Alive site and sort of theme it around the old Zambezi Zinger, and maybe like the return storyline. So maybe Zambezi's Revenge or something like that, or Curse of Zambezi, or just call it Zambezi. Like even just that would be a good name for the rides. But I think maybe a Jersey Devil type layout for Worlds of Fun. Maybe not exactly.
Yeah, they probably will do something less, I would imagine, but we'll see.
Maybe slightly less, but I'm sort of expecting a similar capacity to Jersey Devil. I'm expecting something like that, maybe more outstretched, but maybe like a little less in the stats. But maybe break some records for the region, maybe break some records for the state, maybe. Something's definitely going on at Wicked Twister. Something definitely is going on there. Whether it's ride hardware or not, seem to be believed. We'll keep a check on that. It could be very exciting for the future.
Building foundation was spotted in that plot of land, so in the construction site there was some building foundation that was spotted. So the idea of a restaurant being part of the thing coming next year, not necessarily the whole thing, but part of it, definitely seems to be very true.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if we see a restaurant as part of this. I think Cedar Point will invest in a new boardwalk area, and I think that's been predicted for a good few years now. Even before COVID times, people were predicting at some point Cedar Point to get like some kind of boardwalk area overlooking Lake Erie. So I'm probably thinking Wicked Twister gets replaced and that whole sort of section gets replaced. So I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And then, are there any coasters that you're potentially riding this summer, this season, this year? What are some of the most anticipated ones to ride for you? They don't have to be like brand new, but just ones that are, I guess, new for you if that's happening.
What, any new? What is it? Sorry, any new?
Just any coasters that you haven't ridden before that you're maybe excited for.
Well, I did get my first ever ride on Icon back in February.
Oh, nice.
At Blackpool Pleasure Beach, because I was there for my first ever opening weekend. I've been to Blackpool Pleasure Beach before, but this is my first opening weekend. So I was there with Jack Silkstone, Archie, Kieran, some of the top UK YouTubers, Pleasure Beach Experience, some of the up and coming YouTubers as well. It was great to get their channels involved as well. We all had a wonderful, wonderful time. Bearing in mind, it took 3 trains to get there, and I was traveling from about 5:30 in the morning. In my time, it was a hectic journey, but it was worth it because the station at Blackpool was right outside the park and the hotel, so it wasn't too far a walk. So it was brilliant. So I managed to get there about an hour or so early. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I think Icon, it's a great ride. I think the twists and the turns and the Mac lap bar, I think is a great part of the ride. I think the airtime that you get off it as well, especially when you're going through the inversions as well, the twists and turns, diving into the ground. I think the sort of negative force that you get off that is incredible, and the negative force you definitely feel the weight off your shoulders as you're going up into those pop-ups. So I think the Icon's definitely a great ride. I think it's really close to being number 2 or number 1 coaster. It really, really is. So couldn't rate Icon highly enough. Went to Alton Towers just a week ago, actually, while it was quiet, because I've not been at work for the past couple of weeks. So I thought I'd use one of my days to go to Towers while it was quiet. And again, three 3 trains and a taxi is the journey I've got to take, because I'm nowhere near a good theme park. My nearest theme park's a kids park, and that's half an hour away. The next one's like an hour. The next one's an hour and a half drive, and that's Alton Towers. So yeah, Alton Towers was fun. Like I said, quiet day, was decent queue times. Got a chance to do Gangster Granny the ride in full, because the only time I did it was the opening year, and it broke towards the end.
Ooh.
I only got one ride on it, and that was the last ride I had on it up until last week. So literally, we're up to one scene. We were stalled there. We didn't know what was happening. And then the screens turned off, the lights turned on, the house lights, and then we were sat there for about 20 minutes. And then after 20 minutes had passed, plus another 10 minutes, we just moved through silently. Then they reloaded all the screens back up, and then we were just like starting from scratch with one scene to go. So it didn't feel like a complete experience. Luckily, this time, I got the complete experience where I got to go through the whole way around without it breaking. There is a couple of attractions that look like they're probably on the chopping block. Enterprise definitely could be on the chopping block. It seems like it was in pieces last time we saw. But when I was there last week, only the cars were missing. The rest of the wheel was intact. So it seemed like they put everything back together apart from the cars of the actual Enterprise. So maybe there's a chance, but I'm not betting on it at this stage. And then you've got Jewel. Jewel, the Haunted House Strikes Back. Now, this is a shooting dart ride that's been at the park since 1992 as the original Haunted House. It's been like Jewel since 2003, and it needs a massive refurbishment. Some of the effects weren't working. The guns barely worked. The lighting, I could see the actual moving of the animatronics, which ruined the experience. And, I didn't even try the guns, but the reason why I knew why the guns weren't working is because I was seeing the car in front of me, trying to shoot, and I overheard them saying, these blasters don't work. So I knew they didn't work. So, a lot of problems with Jewel. Hopefully that gets some massive overhaul at some point. I think it needs an overhaul. That's one of the attractions that needs an overhaul. Hex, that's been closed since the opening day of the season or towards the end of last season. I don't know what's going on with it. I've heard from somewhere, inside sources, so UK fans watching this, you're getting a bit of an exclusive here. Exclusively, I can reveal that I've been informed reliably that we are waiting on a part from Vekoma for the actual Madhouse section of Hex. Now, when that part comes, I don't know when, but they are waiting on a part, and when that part comes, the ride can be back open, which is great news. Oblivion was closed on the day for maintenance. That can still be fixed. That's not going to be a problem. The new kids ride in CBeebies Land, to be honest with you, CBeebies Land, I never really go in CBeebies Land, because obviously it's kids area.
Yeah.
But I thought there was no one in it. It was dead. I had the whole area to myself. I had about an hour before the dungeon experience. I was like, you know what? I quite fancy reviewing some family rides. So I thought, you know what? I'll hop on a few, see what they're like. So I went on the In the Night Garden Magical Boat Ride first, because I had a really special connection when that was known as Riverbank Ice Spy in my childhood. So when that was it used to be Old McDonald's Farmyard, that area. And it used to be called the Riverbank Ice Spy. It used to have like 2D animals, and they have like different buttons, and you hear the sound of the animals to match it up with the animal in front of you. So it was a very educational ride as well. And then they changed it to 3D animals in around 2007, I think. It used to be Riverbank Ice Spy, and then in 2014 it got changed to In the Night Garden for the CBeebies IP. And I went round, there was little patches of audio that wasn't working in places, or sort of jumped in a bit too soon, or weren't working. There was one particular section at the end where they have like a song for one of the characters called Iggle Piggle. That sound didn't play, or that soundtrack didn't play, so I was kind of disappointed about that. But overall, it was just a nice, calm, peaceful, relaxing boat ride. Classic boat ride. It's like the Le Petit de Comedy du Feu, which is the little boat ride around the Casey Jr. thing at Disneyland Paris. It's kind of like that kind of ride system. So yeah, like I say, it was a nice, calm, peaceful boat ride. Then they had like 3 new rides for this year. So they had Andy's Dinosaur Dig. They had Jojo and Granite Home, which is like a little walk-through house tour attraction. And then they had another attraction. I can't remember what it's. I think it was like a re-theme with a playground, which obviously I didn't get a chance to go in for obvious reasons. But I had a chance to do the other 2, walking around Jojo and Gran, walking through the Dinosaur Dig attraction. Exceptionally well themed for a kids attraction, gotta say. And I think overall, really impressed. I think it will really excite a family audience and a kid audience. So, really good. And when I was on that visit, it was the Mardi Gras events. They had like little entertainment stalls around. They had like an entertainment crew per themed area. So they had like Katanga crew for Katanga Canyon. They had a mutiny crew for Mutiny Bay. They had like an X Sector crew for X Sector, etc., etc. And they did some really good stuff. Even for a weekday where it was exceptionally quiet, they did well. They still put on a show like it was in the weekend. So, can't praise the staff enough for the way they handled that day. And, I think the dungeon as well. Didn't see much change in the dungeon from last time. But overall, like I said, I think Dungeon's getting on a bit now. I think, obviously, that used to be a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the ride. So that used to be an actual attraction. Now it's an upcharge attraction, and it has been since 2019 when it opened. So I think the Dungeons days may come to an end at some point, but again, it depends when. I don't know when it'll be, but I think the days will come when the dungeon will end, unless they change it dramatically. So, but no, Alton Towers was good, and Blackpool Pleasure Beach was good. I am hoping to aim to get back out for Alton Towers for Scarefest this year. I get invited to York Maze Howler Scream pretty much every year, so I'll probably get an invite for that again this year, which should be fun. But yeah, I think I've done some good stuff this year so far, so long may that continue.
Awesome, and I'm happy to hear you finally got to do Icon, because I know that that was something that when we did our stream last time, I think you mentioned that you wanted to do it pretty badly. So happy that you got to do that, and also happy that it was a very enjoyable ride. And you said you went with YouTubers, right? That's pretty awesome. A bunch of other YouTubers.
Yeah, always a great day. I got to do the commentary for their vlog as well. They were doing a little spinning competition on the Skyforce attraction, and I got to be the commentator for it. So very, very good there. And he's got like 20,000 subs, so it's a big deal. So yeah, really happy with that. Yeah, it was a great day. It was a really good laugh with the lads, and hopefully, fingers crossed, same again this time next year.
Awesome. So sounds like you've had some good trips recently. Good to hear, and always good to have you on here. I guess I this is your first time in a call-in, but obviously you've been a Coaster Time guest, so really appreciate you coming on. Do you have any last things you would like to say?
I mean, just keep up the good work, and to all of you out there that watch my stuff, keep supporting the channel, because I've got some really exciting things coming up. Like some really, really exciting things on both Coaster Chal and the newly rebranded Chal Sport. So I'm really looking forward to what's coming up, and a lot of very exciting projects coming up, a lot of exciting collaborations. Who knows? Maybe in a year's time you might see me with the Sidemen, but no, it's been a wonderful last few weeks. And like I said, I think it's great having the time to come on today, actually, because on another night, I'd have been so busy, I would not have had time to catch up with any other channel. So it's great finding the time to do this tonight. And like I said, it's been the Jubilee celebrations here back in the UK to celebrate Her Majesty. And, God save the Queen, and thank you very much.
Yeah, you too, and good luck with your in future endeavors and everything going on right now. It looks like a lot's happening for you, so very happy for you.
Thank you very much, mate. I'm so grateful to the people that helped open doors for me and gave me these opportunities. So I think my life's about to turn upside down over these next 18 months.
Alrighty, so that's great, and I'll see you next time. So see ya.
Thank you very much. Take care, everyone.
Alrighty. So huge thanks to Aaron for coming on. Always great to have him. Talk to him really, because I've actually gone on his streams and done talking to him there. So always a pleasure to do that. But a lot of exciting things going on in the UK, as you heard. So definitely, if you're looking to visit there in the next few years, or you live around there, definitely a lot of projects to look forward to. Alrighty, so, and also if you saw earlier, the reason I kind of met my left ear is like kind of hurting, just from how this thing's sitting on it. So that's why I like messed with it. And my chair got stuck under the desk out of all things. But anyways, I did see if anyone else wants to come on for viewer call-in, you can come on, because at this point we're like way over schedule. So, but I figured that might be the case because it's a viewer call-in. It's something I don't do very often. So, come on, and yeah. So if not, then we'll go with final Q&A. But yeah, alrighty. So, and then how you come on is through the StreamYard link. So that'll be how that goes. Two Real Geeks. Yeah, sure. You can come on. You work at Universal Studios, so I'll let you talk about that too. But yeah, sure. Now that I think about it, I think you'll be the last guest I take on for today, just because or I guess if anyone wants to come on, you can, and that's gonna be how we do it. So yeah, alrighty. So, but I guess before we do that, we can get in a little bit of Q&A, and then like I said, if anyone still wants to come on, you can, but we'll do a bit of Q&A. And I'll give like 15 minutes, I suppose. So yeah, I'm doing StreamYard viewer call-ins right now for this stream. So yeah, have you ever thought about a cartoon about theme parks? Ooh, like a series. That is a good question. I don't like about making one. No, I don't. I guess you could make some like wacky show out of it, some wacky cartoon out of it, but I don't know how exactly that would work. There was a movie, but based off what I understood, it wasn't very good. Yeah, Wonder Park just got brought up. I didn't hear that movie was very good, so you know, kind of is what it is. But it's an interesting idea, for sure. Okay, so now we're gonna have our final viewer call-in. We'll just make sure that you're ready. Danny's your name, right? Should be good. All right. Let's see. And then once you're ready, I'll bring you in on a 5-second countdown. Alrighty. Through private chat, but thumbs up works either way. Alrighty. So with that being said, I'll be bringing you on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Danny, how are you doing?
What's going on? How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Another fun to bring back the streams, and it's really good to bring people on as well. So really enjoying it.
We know the feeling over here. I mean, it's not, like I told you guys in chat. Yeah, I work at Universal. I'm in the actual ride and show apprenticeship program over there. So I get to not only ride them but fix them too. So.
Oh, that's sick. That's actually really cool. So if you could give us a little bit of either, I guess like your experience, what exactly, I know you kind of said you like ride them and you fix them, but
yeah,
what exactly does that entail, I guess?
I mean, look, honestly, like there's things that people don't even realize what goes on behind the scenes. Like we literally work all night to get these coasters maintained. I mean, you got weekly, daily, monthly, yearly maintenance that goes into all these rides and stuff, and like little things that, you know, people don't look at on the rides. We look at the rides, you know. So I mean, we're keeping you safe to have fun, you know.
Absolutely. It's definitely an underappreciated part of the theme park and amusement industry. Keeping rides safe, up, and maintaining them well is really what, like, it allows all of us to be able to ride all the amazing rides and attractions we do. So certainly
it's
cool to
most
hear.
People are going to sleep is I'm going into work to you know, have fun on that side of it.
Yeah,
And it
so
brings a whole new value to appreciating these rides even more. So
yeah, that too. I mean, the building that goes into them and all the
yeah.
engineering and things I can't really put into good words, but
It is like there's just things that I can't even talk about too. It's like, you know, you got new theme parks opening up here in Orlando. And so I mean, yeah, you can literally see where I'm at right there, the land of palm trees, you know.
nice.
So
No, that's awesome though. Really
Yeah.
cool to hear someone who has that experience. And
exactly, and honestly, it helps me to more bring better value to our YouTube channel also. So it's like we started off up in Georgia at Six Flags Over Georgia, and then we moved down here, and it's like, you know, more behind the scenes stuff definitely helps to deliver more angles of fun to people. So
yeah, that's really cool. I don't think I've checked out your channel too much, so I'll definitely make sure to do that after the stream. And anyone else in the chat here,
we're
make sure to check it out.
calling ourselves the official Orlando theme park party channel. So if any of you guys know us on our channel, you guys know the fun that we deliver. So just by checking out our trailer for our channel, we'll definitely tell you the fun that we're bringing you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess as I've done with everyone else, was there any bit of news or rumors that piqued your interest recently coming out of the amusement industry?
Honestly, I don't know if anybody saw the SeaWorld announcement yesterday, but that was kind of sick. The new surf coaster coming from SeaWorld or Orlando here. Yeah. It's a B&M coaster coming to SeaWorld, and it's themed to surfing. So that's all we got. I know on our channel we have some construction update on it, and they're doing a lot of work, and they're talking about it opening up by next year. So
Yeah. Oh wait, sorry, I cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
It is an interesting project because it's a completely new concept from B&M, and so, you know, keeping up with the construction, I mean, seeing the new trains for the first time, because that's like really the big thing, is the trains being different. It'll be pretty interesting to see how it all goes, so it's really cool that that's happening.
Being that we're so close to it here, we will definitely be on top of it a lot. I plan on getting very frequent updates out to people, so you guys can all see what's going on and the progress of it.
That's awesome.
I just hope it doesn't turn into Icebreaker, because I mean, this coaster does look huge, but when we had the announcement for Icebreaker also looked huge, but it's really small.
I don't know if we have a hype for this that was ever in those leaked things or whatever, so it'll be interesting to see how
I think this is the
tall
first virtual on-ride video that we actually got for this, so the footprint looks pretty big. Looking at where the area is, it looks like it's literally coming out over the lagoon over there at SeaWorld, coming towards the bridges there, so should be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have, and then I guess my other question is, do you have any potential predictions for the future of the amusement industry? Things maybe you think could happen or would like to see happen?
Oh, everything's going high tech right now. I'll tell you that right now. Everything is going all high tech. It's all computer controlled even more than it is already. We're gonna see some big bad things coming out. Honestly, we're gonna see a lot of refreshes too, I believe, in a lot of parks, because a lot of these parks are getting very outdated right now, and they're realizing it. People are flocking more towards where the technology is going right now. I can speak right now, like right now here in Orlando, with Disney opening the new Guardians ride, things like that. People are flocking to the technology. So I know we all complain about screens and everything, but I think the screens are here to stay.
Makes sense. And Orlando really recently has been a place for a lot of these innovations that we're seeing throughout the industry. So it's pretty interesting to see, and there's probably some pros and cons, but probably more good to come out of all this innovation. So
I think what we saw originally when the screens first came out, like we can go look at like Gringotts and Forbidden Journey and things like that. I think that those screens on those rides were more tests, and look at what we have now with like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot. Those screens are just amazing. Like they really suck you in. Like you kind of almost forget that you're on a ride with the screen. Like, you feel like you're there. So I think the technology now is like advanced more than what we originally had. You have to start somewhere to get where we are, And I think we're going to see more rides like Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, things like that.
yeah, I mean, definitely a good thing to have all this innovation for sure. My next sort of question is, are there any like rides that you're maybe thinking of riding this summer or this upcoming year that you're excited to check out?
I mean, I ride rides on a daily basis. I'm probably one of the few that can say that, but every time I get up, go to work, and I just know that I'm going on a coaster that day, so it's kind of cool. Like even on my days off, like I'm literally will go to Universal, just not to film for the channel, but I'm like, you know what? I want to go on Velocicoaster today, and it's like I have it. It's right here in my backyard. I can go to SeaWorld and go on Kraken or Manta or whatever, and it's more of what ride do I want to ride today.
That's awesome. I mean, Orlando, like, especially if you're really, really close to parks. I mean, you're close to the parks anyways, but great place to be. I live in the central California, so I'm like 2.5 hours away from anything, but
what's your favorite park out there, though?
Out in California, my favorite's actually Disneyland. That is my favorite. But Knott's and Magic Mountain are also some of my top places.
Between Magic Mountain and Knott's, which one would you recommend to somebody?
That is difficult. I think if they're looking for something that brings both good coasters but a good overall experience, I would recommend Knott's. If you're just looking for the best coasters and the best thrill rides, Magic Mountain's going to be the pick all the way. So
yeah, that's what I would say too. I would also see what time of year it was. If it was around Halloween time, I'm definitely signing you up to Knott's. So
yeah, I love going to Scary Farm. So I love.
You know how many people forget that Knott's Scary Farms was the original Halloween event in a theme park too. They're the ones that grandfathered the Halloweens in the parks. Without them, we wouldn't have, Fright Fest or Horror Nights and things like that. So
yeah, I mean, I knew that was a thing, but it's not something that ever rolled through my mind when I was going there. So it's kind of cool to look at it with that perspective, that they were the ones to really start this whole thing, and now we have Horror Nights. And Fright
you literally
Fest.
see what I'm wearing right now. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do without my Horror Nights right now.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty crazy for sure.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about that we didn't necessarily go through before we wrap this up? Or...
No, I just wanted to introduce everybody to myself, to your viewers also, and say, hey, that we're out here in Orlando, and come check us out, because not only do we give you the information on the park, we take you to the park with us, and we bring you along on the fun. So, you know, there's us smaller YouTubers out here in Orlando, other than the bigger channels and stuff. So we appreciate it if you can and check us out. You know, that's all.
Alrighty, so everyone in here, make sure to check out Two Real Geeks. I will be doing that as well. So I really appreciate you coming on. And any last words before we wrap
No,
this
man,
up?
not a problem. If there's anything we could do, you know, to collab with you guys, with you or anybody else in here who has a channel that, you know, from Orlando to wherever you guys are, heck yeah, man, hit us up, because we're down for collabs. We're looking for more fun to do. So let us know.
Awesome. So thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you later.
Not a problem, man. Have a good day.
Alrighty, see ya. Alrighty, so that'll wrap it up. Cool to have someone who works within the amusement industry, especially something related to maintenance, which is really something that I haven't really talked to anybody who has, so that's definitely a unique perspective for me, but definitely an underrated aspect of the amusement industry, as I said. And I mean, Orlando really is the place to be when it comes to theme park innovation and ride innovation. I mean, you've already seen a lot of things happen over there that have translated to other parks around the US and around the world. So really appreciate Danny coming on, and yeah. So that'll pretty much wrap it up for the viewer call-ins, and I'm gonna be doing my final Q&A, end of stream Q&A. And so any questions you have, let me know. As I mentioned way earlier, I actually just visited Discovery Kingdom this last week, so if you have any questions related to that, let me know. And this is also a good time for me to bring up the two things I mentioned for coaster time for coaster time in the description. I have two new Google Forms. One is a poll for those of you to give guest suggestions for coaster time, guests for the future. And the other one is something new I'm doing, which is a self-request Google form, which is something you can do if you are a viewer interested coming on coaster time. I can't bring everyone on who submits a form, but this is hopefully a way to bring some people on who are interested in doing that. So if you're interested in doing that, do the form in the description. It's also on my About page on YouTube, so make sure to do that. It's pretty simple. It's just asking for your content creator name, why you want to come on, and one multiple choice question. So pretty simple, and that should be that. So like I said, end of stream Q&A. Any last questions you have, let me know. Let's see. So what was closed when I went to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom? Oh, I didn't even mention this earlier. My day was so bad they actually gave us complimentary tickets in terms of operations. I'm not going to show them because it has the barcode on it. I can like show the back of it, right? Yeah. Okay, you're not going to see the front because it has a barcode, but here are the complimentary tickets. Absolutely useless because I'm a season pass holder. But anyways, Medusa was closed almost all day. It like operated for like a few minutes in the morning, and then something happened where they had to get a cherry picker out there. I'm really not sure what the heck happened, but something weird. Kong was down all day. Batman the Ride was only open a few hours. Joker was a hot mess. Sidewinder Safari took multiple hours to open. Just, you know, brilliant day at Discovery Kingdom. So I got to do everything I wanted to do besides Medusa. I got 2 rides on Joker. And yeah, so that was good. Back row on Joker, that first drop is my favorite first drop in any RMC. Sidewinder Safari is was actually pretty solid. It was pretty solid family coaster. I actually enjoyed Batman the Ride, so I consider me a fan of 4D free spins. I actually liked it quite a bit, so that was an unexpected surprise. Yeah, so... Oh, and Boomerang Dethrone Coast Rider is my least favorite coaster ever because it gave both me and my dad a migraine. So, nice. That is basically all that happened there. I guess no one asked, but oh well. Most anticipated credit. Like, I guess Edgenica, probably. No, Edgenica or Dynaconda, just coin flip it. But yeah. Will I be at Wonder Woman Flight of Courage Media Day? Probably not, because there's a decent chance I'll be out of town by then, even though we don't know the opening date. I don't have a media pass or whatever. I'm sure I could figure something out if I really wanted to, but I think I'm okay. I don't usually do media days. Sidewinder and Safari I did like a few days after it opened. It was just kind of convenient that it had opened, but just before my visit. Yeah, like they were giving out the complimentary tickets, and what was even worse is the day I went was, to be fair, not a great day to go. There's a bunch of school groups, but like it was a very bad experience for the guests. Several guests you could hear in lines were very displeased, and considering that there were a bunch of kids coming from like their high schools, it wasn't quite grad night, but I think it was like mostly 8th graders actually, so probably middle school graduates. To have so many of those kids all within like a very close area to not like the park and have a bad experience, I mean, I just thought it was very rough. So it's unfortunate. The old manager from Discovery Kingdom went to Six Flags Over Georgia. I'm checking out Over Georgia, and I've heard some good things about it, so we'll happy to check it out this summer. Why did it take SeaWorld San Diego so long to start building coasters? Because it took Blackfish for them to start doing that, basically. Or at least, not to start, but to get more focused on it. It's just true. It's what it took. So, but I'm happy that the chain is committed to doing that. So, good for us coaster enthusiasts. Would I rather go to Busch Gardens Williamsburg or King's Dominion? I would rather go to I'd probably be BG Dub. I would say King's Dominion has a better top 2, and heck, they probably have the better 2 out of 3 coasters. But Busch Gardens Williamsburg is like such a unique place compared to anywhere I've been that I would honestly take it. But it would be really close, I will say that. It's not an easy pick by any means. Let's see. Oh, before Orlando, you were on the media for Over Georgia. Nice. Air Force One opening day predictions. The only thing I will say, someone brought this up, and Wonder Woman's construction is wrapping up, so the idea is maybe they can send some of the crew over to Air Force One if that's something like how that works, which would speed up the construction process if that could be done. It's not going to happen on July 4th. I mean, I think if to be optimistic, it will happen in like the July 20s, and honestly, that's me being biased because that's about what I would need to actually realistically be able to ride it, because I'm going late summer. But yeah, I'll go with like the July 20 something. So, and I'll probably be wrong, but I'm just hoping. If it's not open by when I go, oh well, I'll just have to check it out a different time. It's what it is. How good do I think Shambhala will be? I feel like I'll be lower on it than most, but I still think it'll be probably like the best B&M Hyper, but I haven't even ridden one of them, so. I have seen a Cosmic Rewind POV, yes. I think I mentioned that when we talked, that I had seen it. I mean, it's going to be a while before I get out to Disney World, so it was like, I might as well. And it looks like a really fun ride, so that's pretty cool. And you're going to try to attempt it tomorrow? Nice. What was the worst ever theme park visit ever? Probably my Discovery Kingdom visit before this one. Because I don't even want to go into it, but it just, a lot of rides were closed at the beginning. They started to open toward the end, but it's just kind of like, really. And there was a lot of miscommunication in terms of I had to get the Flash Pass that day, and there was miscommunication on what rides were and were not working for it. It was a mess, and it was a mess, and it was hard to enjoy. But Discovery Kingdom can be a pretty tricky park to visit, as I've learned, unfortunately. Pretty much any other park I've had positive experiences at, but that one is just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. What's the third coaster I was talking about with King's Dominion? No, I was saying like in Virginia that that Intimidator 305 and Twisted Timbers would be above Pantheon. That I guess I didn't make that clear. No, there isn't a third coaster at King's Dominion that I think would be better. But yeah, that probably sounded like I was saying that. There are only a handful of RMC guys for Wonder Woman. Okay, so it's not really going to do a whole lot. Okay. What will my 100th coaster be? I'm currently at 99 credits. Man. That is, the funny thing is, you would think I would have that so figured out by now, but I actually don't, because I guess there's a chance Wonder Woman could open decently before I visit, so I would like that to be my 100th coaster, but I could also be going to Atlanta and getting it, and if Air Force One is open, it's probably my 100th, but if it's not, it's probably Twisted Cyclone, and now there's the possibility on the table that maybe like a trip to, I may have to be going to Indianapolis in the next few weeks, and so if that happens, that throws a completely new wrench into the equation in terms of a 100th coaster, so I have like legitimately no idea what it's going to be. If I had to guess, it's probably Twisted Cyclone at Over Georgia, just because that, with all the variables, that's like the most guaranteed thing that I'll be able to do before the end of the summer. So, assuming it's open, of course, but I mean, it should be. If not, it'll be something at Over Georgia. And also, Twisted Cyclone's open 30 minutes early, so if anyone was wondering why I wouldn't make it Goliath, it's because Twisted Cyclone's open 30 minutes before all the other coasters outside of Georgia Scorcher, so yeah. It might be Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain. I was legitimately considering it if I go to Indianapolis, because, I mean, I would want to ride Lost Coaster before it goes down, right? So I was legitimately thinking that was probably, that might be it if I go there. But I might also do, I might do Kings Island also when I'm there, so, like, there's a lot of different possibilities if that trip happens, but it's far from a guarantee. Yeah, Scorcher also opens 30 minutes early, but I would rather do Twisted Cyclone first. But yeah, all right. Last few questions. Yeah, the Superstar Parade closed permanently today. Yeah, and yeah, I remember seeing that in a chat somewhere. Yeah, that was the one where the Squidward dab happened. I don't really cover like show closures because or show beginnings because it's already hard enough to get all the rides done. But yes, that is something that did happen today, so that is unfortunate. Let's see. What's a coaster you're going to ride but aren't looking forward to it? The Mine Train at Over Georgia, to be honest. It looks so Cedar Creek Mine Ride-esque that I am not looking forward to that. But maybe it'll actually be somewhat decent. I don't think the other coasters at Over Georgia really look bad, so that's definitely like the one that I'm not looking forward to doing. Yes, I can do both within the 30 minutes. It would be Twisted Cyclone first, then Scorcher is probably how I would do it. Yeah, I mean, it's the mine train is looking pretty rough. It's not looking really good. This summer you're riding Zadra, Conda, and Ride to Happiness. Which one should you be the most hyped for? I mean, if it's me, I would say Ride to Happiness just because it's like the most different, but Zadra is hard to compete with. Honestly, Conda's kind of at a lower tier compared to those two based off what I've heard, but it still looks like a great ride. This chat is not really... actually, yeah, Great American Scream Machine, I've actually heard some decent things about it, and it did get retracked, so I'm actually genuinely curious to ride it. Like, I actually do want to ride it, so, as weird as that may sound. So, yeah, worst coaster I've ridden. For the longest time, it used to be Coast Rider at Knott's, that being the Wild Mouse, but now it's Boomerang Coast to Coaster at Discovery Kingdom. It gave both me and my dad a migraine. It rode super, not even truly rough, but like unbelievably rattly. It was actually insane. Like, I'd actually prefer a coaster to be rough than like as like truly rattly as it was. It was awful. There was a reason I hadn't ridden a Boomerang in 8 years. I honestly don't know if I'll ever ride another Boomerang coaster again after that, just because that was bad. Yeah, I know. I was so sad when Coast Rider lost its crown. I mean, I really was, but I mean, it took a really special kind of bad to beat it, and unfortunately that special kind of bad was met, so yeah. Let's see. What else? Intimidator 305 or Lightning Rod. At this point, I'm more excited to do Intimidator 305. So we'll see what happens there. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream. In terms of shortening the stream, my logic did not work, but I guess for this stream, I wasn't really focused on making it less than 3 hours. I was more doing that for future streams where I have guests. But thank you everyone who checked out the stream, who's been watching it. Those of you who've been watching it live, those of you who are watching this afterwards, and those of you who, of course, came on for the viewer call-in. So that is very much appreciated. As mentioned earlier, if you could please do the new Google form or the new Google poll I did for guest suggestions and feedback. You can literally do it in 5 minutes or less if you really want to. And then if you are someone who is interested in coming on as a guest for a Coaster Time stream, I also have a self-request form you can fill out. No guarantees you can get on, but I hope that this gives some people who want to come on the opportunity, some viewers, I should say, who want to come on the opportunity to become a guest on here. So with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time here on Coaster Hour.